This week's episode of All Wings Considered is brought to you by Textiles.
Oh, I love your jacket. What's that made of?
This little thing? Why, it's 100% textiles.
I need to get me some of them.
Now, here's Ben and Jason.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of All Wings Considered, the internet's premier weekly streaming show about Wing Commander.
Excellent build-up.
Thank you.
We can sell that to anybody now.
Yeah, by the way, you want to pay us for this.
That's right.
We are professionals, as you can see from my shoulder. We're going into their camera.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Huh?
Oh, God, it's getting worse. Oh, it hurts so bad.
Now I see why this was like that earlier. We're in different spaces now. We're fine.
We're totally in different areas. Yes. Anyway, welcome to the show. As always, thanks for coming on. I'm Ben Loaf-Lesnick, and I'm your host of this exciting adventure, and I'm joined as always by this fellow right here,
Jason Dunderdahl.
Jason Dunderdahl.
Well, you
like that song, "Don't Go, Jason Dunderdahl."
Oh my good God, I am ashamed of you right now.
You weren't ashamed of me before? That's
no. Well,
the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
You literally just converted a TLC song on the spot. Oh, we find the truth out from the Peanut Gallery says it's not original.
No, I've definitely thought of that before.
Oh, okay. Well, that's even... Oh, don't go chasing me anywhere. Anyways, what are we doing this fine Thursday? Thursday.
So, yeah, our big marquee thing today is we've got another segment of book club coming up. We're going to be reading chapters 6 and 7 of Fleet Action and talking all about those. They're, spoiler warning, far less problematic than some of the previous chapters. So that'll be fun.
Yep.
But before that, we've got another turn of the barrel on Privateer. I didn't get to play any over the weekend, so we're just going to continue our...
we're going to burn.
Ecstasy of the Troy system. Goal tonight is to get the top-level scanner. So we're going to start with the standard black and white scanner. We're going to get that Omni.
We're going to go back-to-back Privateer this evening, actually.
Yes, and what is our Privateer...
our Privateer 2 ship. This week we will be talking about the Aurora.
The PR-01 Aurora at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen.
May I see it?
All right.
You're not going to answer the no you wrote?
No, you can't.
All right, that's fine. But yes, we're going to go back-to-back Privateer. We're book clubbing it.
Mm-hmm. We're going clubbing, as they say.
We're going clubbing, as the kids say, yes. Yeah. But... what are our first major pieces? Actually, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. Busy week with work. I do our monthly magazine, and this was our week to do all the writing.
Behind the magic.
Yeah, that's how it works back there. And I saw 2 movies. Finally saw Shazam, which was much better than I expected. The commercials made it look like it was just this like comedy, but it was actually kind of like an 80s style. I mean, it was like Big and Goonies. It was interesting. Like my brother described it as like an 80s Joe Dante movie, which and it really was. It had heart, and it's weird. The DC universe is kind of stealth fixing itself. They can't get Batman or Superman right, but Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam have all been fantastic.
Interesting.
And we saw Detective Pikachu, which was very good. I mean, I love Pokemon, so I'm a bad judge, but it was a tremendously fun movie that made no apologies for expecting you to understand the mechanics of the Pokemon world. I thought it was really fun.
Interesting.
How's your week going?
Pretty good. I did not see any movies.
Okay.
I had a good day yesterday. Hopefully next week I'll get some good news about everything, and things will be good. That was really not a very explanatory
It sounds like you're hiding a pregnancy or something, honestly. So.
Yes! It's a gender reveal party, and your shirt says it's both. Nope, this week is pretty good. I'm really hoping it doesn't rain, because I would like to go either out to the mountains this weekend, or even all the way down to Tennessee for Great Smoky, but I have no idea. Other than that, though, things are good. The other day I realized I still have to finish Halo 4. Remember when I was playing that months ago?
No.
Yeah, okay, good. And I continue working my way through. Before I was watching DS9, now I've started the next generation, although I'm in Season 5.
That's
pretty far in. So it's been good. Other than that, I got nothing.
The other thing I've been doing this week is building a Plex server.
Yes.
I've been talking about this forever, and finally, because I've got like 2,000 DVDs, I need to go through and rip them all. And
yeah, you know, I saw that book.
So Keenan, he used to be Goku. Keenan on Discord linked me to how to build your own. Now I can't remember what it's called. You know,
Plex.
Plex. That was the server. The
you're trying to think of the names we invented for it yesterday?
No, I'm not. But anyway, I've been learning to rip Blu-rays, and I'm in that process where you wait for your computer components to arrive. And
oh wow, yeah, you have a big stack over there.
The last one, the CPU here, just arrived this afternoon. So this weekend, I'm going to be putting together parts and figuring out stuff I haven't done in many years. So
nice.
Excited about that.
Nice, that sounds exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So the only other thing I did, I forgot. I started playing Standoff since we were doing Fleet Action, and we're getting to the part where they kind of match up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little ahead of us though, so I won't spoil anything about where I am.
Well, with that, let's talk about the Week in Wing Commander with everybody's favorite segment, Afterburner Slideshow.
Whoosh! You like how I had my hand on the throttle there?
I saw you were waiting. For
you made me, and then you still made me wait.
So we got a couple follow-ups from questions from last week that we went and looked into and collected some media for, and I think the most exciting one is...
This is cool.
This is cool. This was something I didn't know until someone asked about it.
Yeah.
But let me bring this guy up. Here's the Panther from Wing Commander Prophecy. If you saw our pre-show, it was on there. That very famous render of it that appears in a lot of this marketing render right here. Mm-hmm. And the question we had last week was, what are the if you look at the leading edges of the wings, similar to where the shuttle got whacked, there's this shiny black parts on either side. Yeah, and someone in the chat asked, what are those for? And I didn't ever think about that. I didn't ever think that they were for anything. Yeah. And but I said, I'm going to... Oh, actually, if you look at the top Panther, you can see it much more closely. It's just dead center in the screen.
Yeah.
So I said I would look into it. Maybe there is a purpose for it. And boy, I actually found it.
Yeah, and this is really cool.
So the short answer is that it is another design element that was cut from the game. Mm-hmm. Similar to the ones we were talking about last week, the little pod on the Shrike or the big gun on the Devastator, that sort of thing. Initially, and I figured this out by going back to the original ship pitch document for Wing Commander Prophecy and figuring they had everything listed out, and it was just these lines that I had never even noticed before, and I've read it in the past. But basically, the Panther was supposed to have a special radar that could target 2 enemy ships at once, which would you'd be able to fire missiles at 2 ships at once.
Yeah,
and that would have been very useful in the multiplayer and not so much in the actual game. And it would have been part of a ladder. The Tiger Shark would have had nothing. The Tiger Shark would have target 1 as normal.
Yep.
Panther would do 2, and then the Vampire, which if you look at the back of it, has a similar one of those black shiny spots, dead center.
Yep.
It would have been able to attack 4 targets at once.
That would be cool for things like the Merv and stuff,
mm-hmm.
huh?
Yeah, and from there I went to look at some of the evolution of the ship, and I found the original sketches that led to the Panther we have today, and here they are.
These are very cool.
So this was the first drawing of the Panther from 1996, and you can see it's an Excalibur meets a Bearcat, basically.
Yeah, and maybe a Hellcat because of the side.
Yeah,
sorta.
I kind of
think of that part, like the angle, the front of the wings.
And this is not credited, but this has to be Chris Douglas. This is our style.
It is gorgeous.
It has the guns like the Excalibur on the side, and the wing inlets like the Bearcat. And as you can see, it does not have the little radar bit.
No, but it's interesting. It has the missile gun from the Vampire.
It does have the missile gun, and in fact, you can see it has the similar one to the Vampire dead center between the 2 engine pods.
Yeah.
So.
In the back. Yeah, gotcha.
So the revised version, there they are. They're added in between the two sketches. And that's how we would work on a game like this. You'd say, we need... the artist would do a concept, and the designers would come back and say, okay, well, we want to show this off more. We tweak it this way, and you go back and forth until you get the version that they like, and that in the 2D, and then they would have rendered it. And there's the cinematic model.
There she is.
And just for comparison, here is the vampire, and you can see it
Yeah.
almost looks like a little window in the back where you could like pop up a head.
Like the back of a fire
Yeah.
truck driver, you know, the guy driving the tail. Yeah.
So they were intended to be fancy sensors. Who knew? Not me, and now I do.
Yeah, that's a very cool little weird detail.
Yeah, I love that kind of thing, and it's exciting to go back and get to find that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Another follow-up from last week is we said we would show off the Wing Commander Academy team shirt from the Wing Commander Academy game that was designed by Paul Steed. And so I have that image here. First of all, this is the famous Wing Commander 2 team shirt.
That really is not good.
It's not good.
Did the guy won't push red? I got a lot of extra red ink I got to move this week.
I mean, it's a great sentiment. I started the Tiger Skull. That's fantastic.
A beautiful scene, but yeah, no.
It did not quite render from screenshot to giant plastic thing.
Like, I don't even get, like, you don't see, it's weird the silhouette you're seeing, because you see, like, the bottom of the, like, the shadow of a Strako?
Yeah, it's an odd representation. So,
yeah, and they made a lot of those, huh?
The story goes that the great origin artist Paul Steed, I mean, everyone in the world knows him as the great id artist rather than origin artist, but the great Paul Steed was so unhappy with that he said, I'm going to design the team shirts now. And I think we showed his Privateer shirt last time, which I think was the impetus for this.
Yeah.
But this is his Wing Commander Academy team shirt, and it is so cool. It's a seal for the fictional academy, yeah. And I love it. I love when there's I think I first saw this 5 or 6 years ago in Martin Galway's collection, and it was just so exciting because there was a piece of Wing Commander art that I'd never seen before, and it's cool. It's cool. And this is one of my holy grails, by the way. I don't have one of these shirts, and I would love to find one someday, just because it's so.
Yeah, what's
special,
it say on the scroll on that right there? Is that it?
It says established 1991.
No, that one.
Academy.
That one.
let's see.
I can't look at it. Looks like FAC.
It's something in Latin.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can't fake the Latin. We'll have to
we'll
look
look
into
that
it.
up, yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard to read on this
I
picture.
think I can actually pull up. If it's not legible in this, I do have some high res.
You're going to try to
photos
live do something? Let's see what happens.
I'm going to try to. Well, I'm not going to show it to them. I'm going to try to live it to us.
And then let me look it up for us.
Yes.
I will, all right.
We're going to figure this out live, maybe.
This is how behind the music happens. Whoa!
It says, Fac ut Gaudium. That's FAC space UT space GAUDEAM.
Well, apparently, what? That doesn't tell me that. That's not what I care about.
It may be some inside joke.
No, I think it's some weird. What the hell is this? It's like some weird joke itself or something. I don't get why there's just not a translation. Just translate it for me, yet.
Oh, here we go.
Which one? Yeah, that's what I was looking at a second ago, but it's like a part of a poem, yeah.
It says, there's no equivalent idiom. It comes out literally to do it so that I may be happy.
Oh, okay. Do it so... Alright. Alright, well, we're happy by it. Sure.
So, I will certainly... make my day. It translates roughly to make my day, apparently.
Oh, okay. I mean,
that is us Googling something for your enjoyment.
And not being very good at it, despite we do this all the time!
And sometimes these team shirts did have really great in-jokes. Like, if you ever look at a Strike Commander team shirt, and, plug for Billy Kane, he's got one up for sale on eBay right now.
Yeah.
But there's this, it's like the logo for Strike Commander circled with, like, SC, which stands for Strike Commander, fuck you. Which was like the jokey punk song they had on the Strike team.
Yeah, this is it. Like on the high res one, you can see there's like a woman kind of holding the spear. Or no, is her hand on the spear? Or is that her hair wrapped around
I think it's her hand. I think the woman's holding the spear, and there's like a Kilrathi head in there.
Yeah, with a very cool helmet.
This would make an amazing tattoo.
Yeah, if you
could get this detail in it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's weird that those two moons were like right on top of each other. It's different. That's cool.
And I know it's odd for report to spend an hour talking about art in a T-shirt from 1993, but this reporter just couldn't put it down.
Yep, that's why we're moving him to 60 minutes.
Here are some Talons.
Whoa, cutting deep.
Yes, another one we promised last week in answer to somebody's question. They were wondering about the Privateer 2 references to the Wing Commander universe, and I said, there was this part that was cut from the mission. So I brought this up to illustrate the different talents. Can you name them all?
Oh,
in order. Okay, what's the first one?
The first one is the Privateer 2 one.
Very good. Second one?
Second one is... Purple Nose. That's from Super Wing Commander.
What is it in Super Wing Commander?
It is the... Is it the... It's not the Grotha.
It is the Grotha.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then these two are tricky with the blue lines.
Yeah.
It's the thin one, I think...
So what's the middle one? What's
the middle? Yeah, with the thin blue line.
Uh-huh.
That's the Militia?
Nope.
No? Okay, so that's the Pirate.
Nope.
Son of... That's the Retro?
Yeah, if you look at the side, the column of them on the side, you'll see it's got the eye.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the Retro.
And then it's the Militia.
That's the Militia.
And then the Pirate.
And then Pirate, yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Right. Which is funny. You often don't notice in the game the different kind of colors of them.
No, you don't. They're very, very similar in the game, which, as we're going to find out with our sensors, makes it a little bit tough.
Yeah, it'll be very difficult.
But anyway, I bring this up because I wanted to read off the message that was commented out of the final version of Privateer. Yeah, after you finished the Talon mission, you were supposed to get another email from the CIS Special Operations Division. And it says, because if you recall, the mission itself is you're supposed to rescue the pilot of this ship and then bring them to wherever, Hades or something, to be interviewed. And so there's a follow-up message you were originally supposed to get that they cut from the game, which said, the pilot you picked up some time ago has come around after a brief period of shock. Since then, he has made some surprising improvements and hopes to return home very soon. He claims to come from another part of the galaxy somewhat similar to our own.
Ooh.
All in all, this is a very interesting individual, though we can't tell if he's completely insane or just suffering some temporary nerve damage due to some head injury. In any case, we'll keep you updated, Sir Eris. Once again, thank you for your speedy attention to his distress call.
Uh-oh. So, are you insane? Who could that be?
Who does? Yeah.
We don't. But Grayson Burroughs would never park himself in a crappy Talon. We know that. He's better than that.
No, indeed. And with that, I have some more artwork to share.
Ooh.
So this was a minor crisis I had this week. About a year and a half ago, I came across an Instagram post from a guy named Doug Hogan, who was a visual effects supervisor. And he was saying, his boss had worked on Wing Commander and had all these blueprints and had given him some. And as a gift, he had framed one of them and given it back. He'd built a frame. And that was what he was Instagramming. And at the time, I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. So I wrote to him and he said, oh, that's great. We chatted and he actually took some photos of the blueprints he still had. And, I favorited the Instagram post and moved on. And he sent me this Dropbox of the images. And, life got in the way, everything got confusing, and I never got to... I didn't put them in the WC News. I got it. And so I went back to check last week after I was... we showed a bunch of the office photos from the Wing Commander Movie Concert. I was like, let me see these if they're any different. And I realized the Dropbox was gone, and he deleted his Instagram.
Oh, jeez.
So I didn't have any of these pictures anymore. I assumed that I had downloaded them, but it was maybe 2 laptops ago. And what even is a zip you download from Dropbox? It's like a bunch of random numbers or something.
Yeah, it's nothing ever useful.
So I went hunting through my emails. I figured out the specific day I contacted him and when he wrote to me. Oh, nice. And I started sorting all my zip files by time. And I finally found it. It was labeled Wing Commander Pictures. You ever seen how I organize things? That's not clear at all.
No, it's not clear at all. Definitely not.
But then I was still kind of sad because I didn't have the Instagram photo he posted, which was of a different ship because that was one he'd given away.
Yep.
And luckily I also figured out, past Ben is smarter than current, immediately past current Ben, because he took a screenshot on his phone, and I was able to go back to it. So here, oops, that's the Panther. Here is the Instagram that started all this, which is the very, very cool Concordia artwork. I suspect these blueprints were done to then create the physical model that they use for 3D. If you've ever seen, Chris Roberts has in his office this physical model. And then he also sent me And unfortunately, I have not put them together yet, but he did them in chunks so they could be high resolution. And I will hand these off to Ninja or someone who can make a big image out of them. But it's very detailed blueprints of the tiger claw.
It's on like nice blueprint paper too, with that weird, border and stuff.
Yeah, and the rapier. So it's really cool Wing Commander images, almost lost by my idiocy, then found by my genius, and now presented by my charisma. No, none of that is true, except for the idiocy.
All is well in the Confederation.
Oh wow, there's people chatting. Hi everybody.
I've been waiting. There's a question I was going to wait to ask you when you went through these. So don't worry.
No, you're going.
No, keep going. Finish the artwork first, at least. Finish the artwork before.
Unfortunately, I think we're running into that issue where they're too big for. So we're seeing just like 3 instead of the 9 for them.
Oh no, only 3 of the 9 are here. Yeah. The Great Council is incomplete.
But we're going to get them all put together, and we'll put those up at WC News, and you can all download them and enjoy it to your heart's content.
All right, now you're ready for that question.
Yeah,
right?
I'm ready for that question.
So Vermin asked he wanted to know about the Ferekins. They always fascinated him as a race. Just cool to have alien birds. It is different, but we never really knew much about them. Were they planned to be more integrated into the games?
Yes. So the Ferekins were the brainchild of the team that did the Wing Commander 2 story, essentially. They took over in Secret Missions 2. Alan Guan, Siobhan Beeman, and in fact, the specific inspiration for the Ferekins was Mercedes Lackey's husband, who unfortunately I cannot remember the name of right now, but he's a falconer. And he was part of that group. I think he was even doing software testing at Origin at the time, and that was the connection. He loved and continues to love falconing, and so helped them come up with the lore for this bird-based race. And you can kind of see how there are different visions for the Wing Commander universe. Mm-hmm. In 1991, 1992, not 91, 92, there was this more cartoony aspect where the aliens were, it's a cat in space and it's a bird in space.
That's actually part of his second question was, would we ever see dog-like aliens too? As a joke, but that was
the dog Raffy, yeah. And certainly by the time of Wing Commander 3, there was a move away from that to be less pulpy, more sort of a modern sensibility, and the Ferekins got kind of left behind in that, unfortunately. But they're one of those fan favorite things that every time anybody makes it up the ladder in EA and tries to do their own Wing Commander game, they always try to bring back the Ferekins. There's some great Ferekin artwork they did for Wing Commander Arena.
There's some great Ferekin artwork. Just the way that sounds is hilarious.
No, they got reconcepted for Wing Arena and then just never got used. But they are neat, and they have good lore, and if you follow
they do.
A lot of the extraneous stuff that was sort of left from Wing Commander 2 got pushed into the novels, and novels you can do whatever you want with this. So they show up in the books, and they're cool.
Yeah, will they show up for us again?
What's that?
Well, Freedom Flight, but
Freedom Flight is the big one where all the culture work gets put in. But
they're mentioned in Fleet Action.
They're mentioned in Fleet Action. They're mentioned in Voices of War. We hear about the Karathi eating Ferekin roasts.
Oh, that's right.
Captain Johnny put them in the Wing Commander Universe map and even gave them the colony. It's almost one of those things you see a story happening that you're not actually seeing. They're expanding onto space. They declare independence.
Yeah, then they never come back to the Confederation.
So we never get that story directly, but it is told to us through the background lore.
Yeah.
By the time of Wing Commander Prophecy, they're not part of the Confederation. They have expanded to other planets. And in fact, the various Privateer Onlines also had the Ferekins as a faction. It's one of those things, when everybody was trying to figure out how an MMO would work, the basis is how they did Ultima Online. So you want, this year we're going to add samurais. This year we're going to add another island. That's one of the great things about space MMO is, you just have another planet. It makes sense that you discover more planets.
Yeah.
In Ultima Online, it's always like, by the way, there was another continent right there all the time.
How big is this planet?
It's full of pandas. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So a space game is almost natural for that. But they were one of the factions in various iterations of Privateer Online.
Well, that's a great segue, though, into Dark enemies of another kind.
Oh yes, yeah, we've been talking about the Nephilim, and another thing I've been trying to find is the original Sid Mead Nephilim art, and
there's no true end.
So, in fact, let me bring these up. This is six images he did for the Nephilim.
Look like the shadows.
The kind of, and you can see the. Let me go ahead and read his description in his book Sid Mead's Century. He writes his thoughts about the project and how he thought their culture would work. I don't know what Sid Mead sounds. I've met Sid Mead, so I should know what he sounds like, but I don't. So I'm just going to use.
Sure, just use Ben.
Creating the alien characters for Wing Commander 5 was a challenging exercise in combining several morphologies, something I've been doing since childhood. I've always been fascinated, for instance, with the mythical horseman creature known as a centaur. The alien creatures set had to reflect a hierarchical society and command structure. What more natural fascistic model than the colony mind genetic imperative so elegantly exemplified by ants, bees, and wasps? The bottom social order were the soldier aliens, following the worker bee and drone example. Picture of the drone character on the introduction page of this section. That's the one you're seeing. I decided on a six-legged physiology using the rear set as primary weight and mobility support. Having thus established a kind of bipedal locomotion, the middle pair of legs became an additional mobility asset when rapid turning or climbing was required. The forward set became the arms with a kind of hand gesture and grasping function. The middle hierarchy were the lieutenants. This level had a vestigial royal carapace growing at the junction of head to thorax. And then the Queen Commander class had an elaborate carapace with distinctive silhouette points on either side. To further distinguish these royal variations, only the Queen had additional identifying characteristics of carrying weaponry mounted in the carapace plate. And so we don't ever actually see the Queen Nephilim in the game. What he's calling a lieutenant ends up getting called a warlord in the game. And a warlord is the one that kidnaps Blair and that you see at the ending. It's the one that's torturing him, and then the ones that fly the devil rays.
Damn devil ray aces.
And what he is calling the Queen is the concept that you hear referenced in the Nephilim taunts, which is the mother creature. Because one of the only ways we can really learn about the aliens from prophecy, since they were developed so little, is these tiny little fragments of, what do they say in combat?
Yeah.
What is, you pull stuff from like 10 different sources and it's all like little chunks, but they're all fascinating. I was looking through the taunts yesterday, and so it's things like, the mother creature shall avenge us!
Yeah.
So that's the only reference you get. Let me see if I can find one of these with has the Queen armor on it.
It's something like...
Worker, Queen... Yeah, see, the Queens have this, like, weaponry at the top. Like, there, that one, you can see it has, like, a armored hat.
Gun or something, too, on top, or turret or something, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was the idea for the Nephilim. And, of course, the workers or the soldiers are the ones you are constantly battling in the game itself.
The ones yelling, there's no true end.
Yeah, no true end. And if you look through the taunts, there's all these ones you very rarely hear. And there's all this stuff about slavery and death. And there's one of, if an ace kills a capital ship, it's like, we will collect the meat later. And I've never heard that said in the game, but that's pretty interesting.
I've never heard that, yeah.
They seem to want meat.
All right. That might be something we should... producer, we should do a Nephilim taunt thing. One big sound wave.
Yeah, we could probably extract those and play them. I would really love to do a little documentary style thing where I pull all the bits from different sources, and I've kind of been slowly doing that in my head. Mm-hmm. In fact, I even noted in my, I even put in my notes the origin of the name.
Yes.
See the Nephilim, the name Nephilim, and the various games make it. The ISIS manual kind of implies, there's a good reason to think that these are aliens that visited the Earth many years ago. And because it's the same backstory for the Kilrathi, they're the Kilrathi Nathrak aliens, and they visited humanity in biblical times, and so the name comes from these Bible references that are the word is from the Bible, and it's just these two very brief references in the Old Testament, one in Genesis and one in Numbers, where they're referred to very vaguely as like giants or giants that came and mated with women of Earth, and it's one of those things that I think fanboys do that religious people have the same mindset where, we take some tiny reference and we blow up a world around it. Like, his name is Grayson Burroughs. Well, here's because that's something we didn't know, so now it's something everybody knows. And so, when you actually read Genesis, it's the briefest of things. It's like, there were giants there, and they were the Nephilim. Yeah. And then from then, you have a million people who are like, oh, these represent fallen angels. And, oh, wait, no, they're, and then you have like the crackpot people like, oh, no, this proves that aliens lived on Earth. Just all different directions from this, like, 2 sentences that mention them. And it's interesting. And in fact, later Wing Commander stuff, fancy word, later Wing Commander material will do things like... in fact, if you read the Wing Commander Prophecy official guide, it has like 2 pages of lore at the very back that's like the summary of what's happened and what will happen next. And it even uses the phrase, they were perhaps unfortunately named. And then we talked about all the stuff they planned for Strike Team Shadow Force, where it would turn out that the Nephilim were not gods of legend, but they were here looking for Steltech artifacts. So there was
Steltech.
There was one school of thought that was going to be, we'll continue to build on Wing Commander Prophecy, and that's why we have the Queen Alien, and we'll go to a Nephilim space, and we'll take this bigger and bigger and figure out what happens with Blair. And then the other school of thought was like, well, maybe just twist that off and say they were these guys looking for Steltech technology, and they attack occasionally, and that's it. And that's one of the ideas for Privateer Online was they would be
attack occasionally.
They would
fleets in 2 locations across the galaxy. It's fine.
But yeah, there was sort of the idea that they could be marauders in Privateer Online to give it some flavor. So random chance of a Nephilim ship attacking rather than a galaxy-spanning war. And when we did Wing Commander Arena, we went with a galaxy-spanning war happened. So that did canonically happen. There's no details of it, but. It did canonically happen.
Somebody skipped that in their timeline.
I was very intentional. Oh. Actually, it was just the request of Electronic Arts. When I was doing Star Soldier for EA, the only rule I had, was I could not fill in what happens after Wing Commander Prophecy.
That makes sense.
I don't know if it does make sense because no one is ever going to tell that story.
Probably, yeah. But unless we do, unless somebody out there in the community decides to, build off of Prophecy. Mm-hmm.
So I tried to include as many hints as I could in the manual so that people can figure out the details of this grand war.
Yeah.
But
you made it not go too well for us.
Yeah, I
you
like
kicked us in the face. Humans. You kicked the Confederation a little hard in the face there. It's good though. It needed it sometimes.
Yeah. Humans.
Were the Nephilim part of the aligned people races, which was supposed to be 3 groups of aliens banding together or some kind of prophecy? Is a question from chat.
Yes, so they are the aligned peoples, and the Trinity aspect was soldiers. Soldiers, lieutenants,
it's the levels of the bugs themselves. Gotcha.
Yeah. Which, again, I think they could have taken in any other direction. It could have been there was a confederacy of weird aliens, and I think that probably would have been a good idea if people didn't love the Nephilim and you wanted to say, actually, they're ruled by the Dog Rathi.
Yeah.
But the initial aligned peoples comes from the idea of this hive.
They're the Jem'Hadar of the Dominion in the Wing Commander universe.
Yeah.
Right? They could. If
there's one alien race from 1990s Star Trek, they are. It's species 8472.
Oh, I haven't watched enough Voyager to know what that means. I've seen. They do kind of look like those things.
To the point that I think one of Origin's artists said, "Yeah, that's kind of suspicious." At the time, very similar.
How convenient of a show with no soul, really, to steal from something else.
But you can't. You can't blame somebody for stealing from Wing Commander after all of some of the stuff we've seen.
Well, yeah, earlier in the chat, I think it was Vermin again mentioned that that's 1997 is also Starship Troopers and stuff. So it was like the year of the bug.
Bugs were big,
and then next year was the year of the asteroid.
And nobody appreciated those bugs. Now people didn't like Starship Troopers when it came out. Now I love Starship Troopers. I've got the tattoo, but nobody appreciated it at the time.
Yeah,
now we kind of look back and we're like, oh yeah, Voyager was actually cooler than we remember, sort of, and Starship Troopers was amazing, and the Aliens from Prophecy had a lot more potential than we kind of gave them credit for at the time.
I would agree with all that except Voyager. I don't think it. No.
There's some soul in there. It just has to be squeezed out.
Yeah, I want you to cut off all the techno babble. That's always. But yes.
But speaking of small world in in the universe of that creative universe. I've got the Starship Troopers tattoo, and I happen to be working with Jim Martin, who is famous as the man who designed the Defiant for Deep Space Nine.
Oh.
And it happened to come up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I designed that. I did the production art for Starship Troopers. I did the tattoos." So he had designed my tattoo. I had no idea.
Well, that's weird.
So
Small world.
There are a couple of these top tier creatives, and Sid Mead is one of them, and so there is a lot of this influences this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, I noticed in the art book, the part I did not quote, he talks about how he never got any feedback. He did not have a PC. He had a Mac, so he never played the game, and he never got any feedback about his aliens. But he was proud of them, so that's cool.
Huh? You'd have thought a guy like that he'd have one of each, you know?
Nope, Mac guy.
I can understand.
I think a lot of '80s artists ended up being Mac guys.
the desktop publishing stuff, was I think a bit better.
So that was it for our Afterburner slideshow this week.
Throttle back down.
But let's do the space news. First up, what are we looking at right here? Well, this is one of the crazier things we've seen in the last couple weeks. A fellow whose name I should have written down and perhaps did, and then it got off the screen.
Dr.
DCS. Mr. Dr. DCS tweeted at me a couple days ago and said, "Hey, did you see Wing Commander in the Progressive ad?" And it turns out that there is a commercial for Progressive Insurance, viewed right here. It's part of a web campaign where if you look very carefully on the shelf in back of this man, there's a copy of the original Wing Commander sideways with a piece of gaffer tape over the word wing, so it just doesn't break any rules. And I have that ad right here.
Hey, maybe for your mother's birthday you could make her a card or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe I could. Maybe I could bake a cake, too. Or maybe I could find my own car insurance company and dump yours.
Yep.
Yup. Bye, Walter.
So it's not selling me insurance, but pretty interesting. There must be a set decorator out there with a love of the classics. I think Wing Commander's in there, and Eye of the Beholder, the D&D game from that same era.
That model ship. I think it's like a. It doesn't.
Of course, you want the model ship.
Well, the model. It doesn't look like it's a weird ship too. It's like a really, really small gunboat of some kind. Because it doesn't, or it's a destroyer that's really been smushed together.
Next up, Defiance Industries has upgraded the Wing.
Not
my term. Not my term. Chris Reed came up with that, I believe.
Both of you.
So he's upgraded the Confed Outpost from Secret Ops, which is the big circular space station. Mm-hmm. In the next upgrade...
I'm not going to laugh again. You did it once.
In the next upgrade, it will include that. He is also integrating the technology developed by Grim Reaper to bring the damaged hulls back to the game using LODs, basically. It's having the game switch to the destroyed version using an LOD trick.
What is LOD?
LOD is level of detail, and it's actually pretty easy to represent. It's a thing that games today do. You know, if you're supposed to be 500 miles from an object, it renders a little cube and textures it, and it becomes more detailed the closer the camera is to it. And Wing Commander 3 was one of the games that sort of premiered this idea. If you ever take off from the Victory, keep looking at the ship as you fly away. There'll be a point where it switches to
the flat screen.
Yeah, it's going to go to a flat model without the fly-through bay, so the game isn't rendering all those vertices that you don't necessarily need to see. It preserves your performance, and every game today does this.
Gotcha.
So what they're doing is they're taking the idea that the game can render a different object situationally, and they're using it to trick it into doing detailed destroyed ship hulls.
Gotcha. Cool.
Is cool.
It's very cool. Look at that. I can't wait till we get in there. Hey, that doesn't look like a upgrade.
No, this is our third and last space news story, which is that George Oldzier, the composer behind Wing Commander 3 and 4 and Prophecy, and also 9, he's getting ready to kick off his next crowdfunding campaign for the next volume of orchestrated live Wing Commander music. He's working out the budget right now. He's going to have details for us all soon, and he's also announced that he's writing a book about his experiences with Origin and writing that music, and those are both really exciting things. We will be plugging the heck out of both of them here as they develop. You having a?
That was a great cocktail. That's all. Fantastic. Thank you for turning me. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. See, I can if I turn it on you, then I can have a cocktail.
So yes. So George is working on that. We'll keep pumping it as much as possible. Yep.
All right.
Let's make sure you enjoy that. Too. That's right.
Hey, look, it's Privateer 2!
It's Privateer 2.
It is Privateer 2.
Yes. Hello, old friends.
So what is that ship right there? What does that
That is
look
the
like to you?
PR. Is it O or 0?
0.
PR-01 Aurora Light Fighter.
So, yes, we've been talking about the PL series of ships, and now it's done. We're into the PR series now, so we'll restart the song this time. This is the PR-01 Aurora Light Fighter, as my comrade wingman here says. And you can see it has a different style from other ships. It looks kind of like a waffle iron or a pancake press, or I don't even know if that's a real kitchen object.
A spatula? It's like a spatula.
It's a spatula
at the
yeah.
handle, maybe?
Like a double-ended spatula, sort of.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, this sucker costs 34,000 credits. It's sort of like the bougie version of the Strafe.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you ever to buy this instead of a cheaper medium fighter from the cheap line, but it's a thing.
It exists,
and it's essentially the middle of the road line of ships. We're going to see that includes the Shaman. The next one is the Shaman, and then pirate variations like the Tesmos, the Acantona, the Karninin, the Jindavi. The Icarus is the high-end heavy fighter of this line. Okay. And then, for whatever reason, and we'll talk about this when we get to the Icarus, even though it's not really related, 2 of the pirate cruisers are in this line. And one of them is not even seen in the game, so that's going to be fun to talk about. The one thing I noticed while putting this all together is this is interesting, and I think intentional.
I think so.
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
So we've seen the similarities between ships with similar designations before. Yeah. But look at the Aurora, the skull.
And everybody's favorite.
Where did the skull come from? The Aurora. It's a variant of the Aurora. And the reason why you don't see this naturally is that the skull has a joke designation in the game. It's SKUL in all caps instead of PR1A, which would have told us this immediately. But yeah, it's same kind of layout as the skull. Very similar to the Skeksis and Skeksis Mark II.
Yeah, it just adds the pylons.
There's the skull from above, which...
Yeah, so...
God bless Privateer 2.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love getting away with that. Teeth on both sides.
Let's talk stats.
Let's do it.
Very similar, very, very similar to the other light and medium ships we've seen. 320 kps top speed, 640 afterburner. I mean, it's almost like a Tarsus. 60 kps acceleration.
That's harsh.
65 maneuverability. It's totally middle of the road. 620 shields, 420 armor. 420 armor your ship every day.
Every day.
It's 2 gun mounts, 4 missile mounts, 4 component mounts. And let us go through how the NPCs have those laid out. There's I
have a question for you. Why would you ever buy this ship?
That's one of the problems. There's no reason to ever buy the ship unless you like how it looks.
Have you ever bought it yourself, do you recall?
The first time through, very first time I played Privateer 2, I did not have an idea of the design in my head. Okay. So I did go slightly up each time. And to its credit, Privateer 2 allows that by not giving you one-for-one trade-ins. So you can buy this ship and you don't lose any money.
Oh, that's good.
But there's no there's no reason to. You can go beyond it very quickly.
Gotcha, okay.
So, default guns, 2 stream lasers, the most basic laser in the game.
Yep.
Default missiles at level 3, we've got 2 snipes. Level 5, we add a brute. And at level 7, we add a brute 2. And let me pause for a moment and look how cool the Privateer 2 missiles are in detail. They did these renders just for the booth system, and there's so much detail, and they're cool.
They're very cool. I do like those a lot.
Finally, we only populate 2 of the components for the NPC version, but there's a Decoy Mark 1 and High X Mines, which seem to be standard on pretty much all of the NPC ships. They don't make good choices. No. They should have shield upgrades and engine tuners, but no.
They even use the mines in the game very much?
They will use the mines, yeah.
Okay.
But the mines aren't especially damaging. Mine gameplay is something that sounds more fun than it is.
Yes.
You know, you get up, you have a mine in the Raptor in Wing Commander 1. You can have mines in Wing Commander 3 and 4, but it's not fun to.
Yeah.
In single player, anyway, it's not fun to dump a missile out your butt and then never see it again.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Yeah, great phrasing, yeah.
But in multiplayer, it's tremendously fun because that's, the blue shell in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You fire it off and you know it's hitting somebody.
Yeah.
But I think the only way to make it fun in single player would be to have a mine camera that appeared in your VDU that flips up and you see it exploding.
Or that the mine will move within a certain distance towards things. You know?
Yeah.
Because there's only one mine laying mission in Wing Commander 3.
Wing Commander 3 has a mine laying mission, and it's a petty one.
It's really
dump
like,
2 mines. It's,
boom, boom,
yeah,
done. I remember as a kid, I used to dump like 4 to be like, just got to make sure they're not getting through. It doesn't matter.
Still do that.
Yeah. That's good to know. I'm glad I'm in good company.
In fact, I think that's one of the missions you can fail because of the ship selection. It lets you fly the mission with a Thunderbolt, but you don't get enough mines.
That's screwy of them.
Anyway, here are your favorite part. Keep a straight face while we...
Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
So the oldest Aurora in the game entered service 10 years ago, so 2780 is the oldest one in the booth.
Give me that sweet, sweet name.
F465 673F, private vessel, licensed to travel anywhere within Confederation non-restricted service, 2-year service.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Here is G534 467J, private vessel, licensed to travel anywhere within Confederation non-restricted space, 3-year service.
One of these times I'm expecting a phone to start ringing because you're dialing a number.
This is the show where we read license plates and tell people what kind of cars they are.
That's right.
It's not television, it's Compellivision.
Yeah. We know. We definitely know.
This is V465 352L. Private vessel, 10 years service, license to travel all non-restricted Confederation space. So they're all very boring.
It's not a bad paint job on that one, at least, though. I like the red flares.
Yeah, in fact, they're all. I think they all have the same or very similar.
Very
paint
similar.
jobs.
I think they might just tweak the colors of it.
Yeah,
because they were like, you know what, let's phone it in.
There's also an additional Aurora in the database that's X867579H, but it's not. It shows a picture of an Aurora, but the description is for a GM Mark II.
Oh,
so one of those. Mm-hmm. All right, you want to talk wingmen?
Oh, whoa! Who's this cool cat?
Well, this is someone we've been talking about. We talked about quite a bit last week. This is who they ended up going with for Delphinius.
That's no dolphin.
It's not a dolphin in the final game, but he flies one of these Auroras.
He likes death sticks.
Here we have Pinay El Suisse.
Oh my!
He's a novice wing. He may be the cheapest wingman in the game, or close to it, 120 credits. And he's just useless. The most interesting thing about him is he is developer Chris Batson, who they use for the picture. And there's three pilots of Aurora.
Wow, this is a big one, huh?
Yeah, and this is Bruiser McDoozer.
Oh!
Who's an above-average pilot.
Well, he looks just like BJ. What's BJ's last name from Wolfenstein?
Oh, BJ Blazkowicz?
Yeah, he looks kind of like a weird BJ, doesn't he? Or like the Wolfenstein. Yeah, he looks kind of like a Doom guy with his head and face.
Actually, people out there may know who this is. The Wingman and Privateer 2 are all photos of the development team. This is Phil Meller, who works in Star Citizen today. Part of that group of folks in Manchester. Old friend of Aaron Roberts.
But he was not the reference for BJ or
no
Doom guy. He looks really damn close to Wolfenstein. I'm not gonna I can picture him going, oh.
And here we have one more noted Aurora pilot. This is Ralph McLeod, who he's the guy everybody wants to find in Privateer 2.
I was like, I know you. You're my gun hookup.
It's an SOS mission where you go to rescue him. He flies an Aurora, and if you save him, he gives you your first Kraven Mark IV laser, and after that, you can buy Kraven Mark IV lasers. The best laser in the game.
The only laser you really want in the game.
And the Aurora appears in 4 other missions.
Okay.
There's one in the Good Old Boys haulage, which we've talked about before. That's where they say they're a hauling company and they want you to come help them, and it turns out to be a pirate ambush.
The Good Old Boys.
one of the pirates flies an Aurora.
Okay.
The most generic SOS mission, which is called Anonymous at Christ.net.
That's pretty generic.
Where you are literally, it's literally just a fill in the blanks. It says local planetary officials are returning from an off-world conference. It doesn't even have details about what planet or anything like that. They're worried about attacks from the Kindred. Go save them. And when you go there, their escort leader, the ship is named escort leader, is an Aurora.
Okay.
Then there is Wilford Biologics, which is another one of those double-cross missions. They hire you to defend a convoy. The convoy already has 2 Aurora escorts. You get there, and then there's a mutants' rights activist who contacts you and is like, no, they're actually torturing these people. You have to blow up the ships. And you get to choose what you want to do. So if you do the double-cross, then you have to fight 2 Auroras.
Oh my.
And last but not least, there is another mission where an executive hires you to kill a rival, someone who's been stealing from him. The executive's name is Arl Scheuer. Okay. And this may be one that our British friend can tell us what these are references to, because these are very specific names.
Yeah, these are really weird names.
And he wants you to kill someone named Colin Lace Daisy.
Okay.
You go once you kill Colin Lace Daisy, it turns out that Mr. Arl Scheuer doesn't want to pay you, so he has 3 Auroras that are labeled Scheuer executives attack you at the end of the mission. So
that's got to be slightly satisfying to kill a bunch of executives, I guess, for some reason.
Definitely.
You know?
And so the Aurora, not a good ship to fly,
Nope.
but it does suck so much that it's a good ship for the game to put up against you more often.
Well, here I have a question for you. If you were to what would you consider the Aurora's, distinction, or its what do you think makes it? This is a horrible way to say. What makes it stand out in a crowd where everybody looks the same?
I mean, I think it's purely the appearance, that kind of pancake platter skull appearance.
One thing that's weird too, in this shot, you don't notice how thin the connection is between the front spatula and the engines. When you see it from the top and bottom, you see how skinny that is, and it's such a weird kind of design element they do.
Well, I'm gonna. I have too many windows open. I'm going to
yeah.
pop up Privateer 2 right now, and we'll take a look at it in action. One other piece of good news, and I know you probably noticed we fell off of these. We were going through Wing Commander 1 for Super Nintendo and finding the differences. Music Guru has managed to extract the text.
Yeah.
So we're now doing a comparison, and we'll be able to figure out every single one easily and go in and grab them. But we've already found some really funny stuff.
Yeah, the one you posted earlier in Discord was kind of ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, hold on. Let me just put my feet up here.
No, it's terrible. No,
let me take a nap.
One of the conversations with Hunter, I think in the Rostov system, he's like, "Hey mate, just take a load, have a drink, and take a load off. That's the best way to relax." And then Iceman's like, "Says you."
Nope.
Super Nintendo version, of course, can't reference drinking, even if what you're drinking is not mentioned. So it instead says, "Sit down and relax a bit." Yeah. And it's turned into this like, take a rest. And he's like, that's the best way to relax. And Iceman says you. And Hunter says, oh yeah, that's the only way to relax after mission, but don't let the Colonel catch you napping. So napping is the really extreme thing they do on the Tiger Skull.
Yeah, because military people, napping.
Alright, so I've
leaving his
I've outfitted this sucker in the finest of... Let me turn down that audio.
All right, yeah, we're going to start... There, look at that. Preempting the audio we can't hear you to, which we noticed too when we watch back, and we're like, oh yeah, you really can't hear us. At least I know what we were talking about, so I can figure out roughly.
Wow, no pirates at this nap one. What's going on here?
Apparently you found Privateer 2 working. Look at that
yeah,
ugly
it's weird shape. And
yeah, look how thin it is. It's just so weird. It's like you've taken two components and just attached them with that small connector.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a human skull, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get it into the sun.
I like how you're just looking at that screen, hoping to see light hit the surfaces.
Dynamic lighting. It's not as much fun as it sounds.
It's below you, I think so. But then it's not shining when you're there, so I don't
No,
get it.
It seems to have a very dark top. There you go.
Well, apparently the chat does not load JPEG. Oh, Mike just posted a picture of BJ Blazkowicz.
Oh. So, it does have a nice distinct look. It's got a kind of a thick butt, which some people like.
Yeah, I like big engines, and I cannot lie.
Well, since we don't...
I wish I remembered what was the engine they put on that Fed. Was it a Mark 10?
something like that.
That they
Corvette
put-
engine.
Yeah, they put on the end of that, yeah.
So, can I make it to another planet?
I can't believe you're
I
actually...
can't.
This is the first time in all of the Privateer 2 bits we've done where he's actually going to leave the initial nav point.
No, we're gonna try this. You know, maybe we can make it to a station. No?
What have you done, sir?
I don't know what I've done. You know what? Find Hermes. No. Find Hephaestus.
That's where you are, though.
Yeah, it is where I am. Oh gosh, what's pink?
Hades? No, that says system jump.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not able to. Hermes?
Hermes, it is
No,
Hermes.
17 away. Okay, it looks like it's much closer. Ah, well, let's try.
No, it's amazing. I didn't know you could do what you were just doing. I didn't know you could
Oh
actually
yeah, you
search.
can if you hit F and then you
Yeah.
can search.
I had no idea you could do that. Or it's
Oh.
probably because I forgot.
You know what? We got a pirate in here before we.
Of course. Well, it's not going to just let you leave. That'd be too much. That'd be too easy.
They're gonna kick my butt pretty fast in this thing because
It's a
it doesn't have shields or armor or anything good.
Ah, I see.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna lose all my afterburn just getting to them.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Oh,
Hello. Look at you just firing. Look at every
all
missile.
my missiles. There
Oh,
we go.
look at
$50. There we go.
That's great. Yeah, it's also the great reward too. There's nothing quite like when you get that money. Alright. Look. Oh, what is this? Is the Aurora such a crappy ship that no one's going to show up to fight you?
No, unfortunately, it's based on my pocketbook rather than my actual abilities. Nope, and this will be the end.
Here we go.
Sure.
Other dude.
Oh, you know what? They might zap him before.
Yeah, you might get lucky here. Oh, yep.
Nope.
They did. Oh, nope. They got him, but they didn't get all of them.
They got another one.
Oh, how are those not ripping your tail apart? Oh,
That's
there he is.
right.
Now he hits you. Nope, you're getting killed from the guy behind you.
So long, suckers. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Nope. This is amazing. Like, literally, the Aurora is so boring. Even the pirates don't want a part of it.
I know. Well, now we've got a whole nav point full of pirates.
Yeah, we got two pirates. But you got some friendlies around.
There, yeah, there's a... Oops.
Oops.
No,
Well,
good.
now you're just in his way.
Guns overheating.
Oh. Your shields are not doing so good, sir. Oh, you're definitely getting plastered by those, I think CIS guys, or whoever's shooting.
I think it's the other pirate.
Oh, the other pirates. Which isn't, and wasn't that one of the models you mentioned that's part of the, medium fighter line?
Yeah, the Tesmos. Yeah.
That,
Yeah, in fact, I think next week we have a pretty interesting look at two of those.
here we go. And in 7 years, we'll actually finish all of them.
And we're close.
We're at line 2, so...
Yeah.
So then we got that going for us, which is nice.
Hey, I killed him.
There you go.
Except there's another one.
There's no true end. Did you even give yourself decent guns, or what are you firing?
No,
at?
I've got these are the worst guns in the game.
I was gonna say, yeah, that looks
just like the
crap.
NPCs have.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. Like, I don't even see the impact hits because they must have so little damage they're providing.
They whacked me.
Yeah, somebody's rammed you.
I think rams don't do too much damage in this game, but it may have been a missile impact.
Yeah. Well, something. I thought it bumped you. That's why.
That's possible. Bumping gives you this kind of a bounce in this game.
Yeah, because it sort of looked like. Uh-oh, who's jumped in now? Oh, is everybody okay?
Yeah.
I like. What the hell is he shooting at?
Shooting to shoot.
Oh, I guess there is somebody sort of in that direction, but they don't look like they're close enough. Yeah, I feel like at that point he's
Handsome
just
game though. I love the gun effects, especially watching the other guys shoot. There's almost a disconnect in other Wing Commander games when you see somebody shoot and the balls seem separate from the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Privateer 2 has a very sense of, oh, it's firing right now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You have chosen.
Okay, I'm not going to go take a shuttle, so... Not even going to try that. Oh,
Shiitake mushroom. Let's see. Just changing the paint on the Aurora. Just changing the paint. Oh. Uh-oh.
I love the designs of these pirate ships with the yellows. The
great color
schemes.
Yeah.
In fact, producer, let's do a little segment of the Privateer 2 pirate ships at some point and show the different paint schemes.
Yes, we made it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Mike, we made it past the first nap point. We're on the second or third, I believe.
Right, we made it 4 or 5.
He was making dinner, so I don't know when he got back. I just looked up at the chat. So hopefully he's back and he heard. Yes, well, of course we will look at every ship in Privateer 2 eventually. Although we won't sing all of them, only the ships we
Only
fly.
the player ships. Yeah, the goal is to learn the player
We're not doing any ARG. Well, we already do ARG anyway, so I guess that doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, he's got a beat on me.
That's not good.
Oh, and the 2 shuttles now.
Hey, and who would have thought that the most deadly ships in the universe could be shuttles of all things, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit
Goofy. And that's one thing I always thought was weird about Privateer 2 is that they label those small ships shuttles instead of,
Yeah, why not just call them
some like
destroyers?
transport or something. Battle. Done.
But you know what? I just figured out how to make this fun. We're going to call it the Cryus run, and we're going to try to get from Hephaestus to Cryus each week. And eventually we're going to find a ship that can do it.
Sure. You're going to cheat when you say, oh, yes, suddenly I have my Nanoker, and it's got all Craven Mark IV lasers.
No, we're always going to use the NPC loadout. We'll try to get
Okay.
the Cryus, and we'll have to go back and count how many jumps that one was. But
I think you did 2 or 3 there.
I think it was 4 or 5.
Oh, really?
Because there were a couple where I did it really quickly.
Yeah, you did do it really quickly because
Yeah.
there's nobody. Yeah, we actually got lucky. There's nobody there.
Yeah, there were 3 nav points with actual enemies, but yeah.
Oh, does this work? No, it makes it sound too heavy. Maybe this one does. Let's see. Ready?
So time to sing the song. We're starting again for the new series, so we don't have to go through all the lyrics this time.
Yes.
We'll do one final one that's all of them next time, but
Which will probably be its own show.
oh, Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships.
Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships.
Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships. Early in the morning. Chinchilla get the skulls from an Aurora.
That's a great.
Chinchilla get the skulls from an Aurora.
The
Chinchilla get them skulls from an Aurora. Early in
Oh, you put early in the morning and threw me off.
Oh no. But with that we have earned shift number 6. Ta-da!
Look at that.
Oh, that feels
So
the
good.
completionist in my body.
Oh, shoo.
Yes.
All right then. Wow, that's look at that.
Yeah,
and under
look,
it's-
we're at 33% of the way there. We're
Oh.
a third of the way.
Oh my goodness!
6 out of 18.
Gracious, you've got to be kidding me.
No, we're doing well.
Oy vey.
Well, another
you know-
half a year.
That's right.
Or no, 3 months. 3 months.
That's right. Next up, next week, the PRO2 Shaman. Shamans.
But let's go up into the sky and grab one away because we're going from Privateer 2 to
We're going back to
Privateer
back.
1.
Buy, sell. We went from being worth money to now we're just buy and sell. Buy, sell. Yes.
So this time around we will be
Burning up that money.
yes. And our goal
How's our
with
sound? Is it,
yeah, let us know how our
sound.
sound is.
Yep, let us know if everything sounds. We sound in well balance.
So what we're going to be looking at this week as we do our Privateer. Oh no, I'm going to fix that in a second.
Oh, okay,
That's when I
good.
go to full screen. That
Gotcha. Wasn't sure.
But first, I wanted to, in fact, here, let me skip that so we're at the intro. I want to show the
cool.
scanners first. So one of the really great gameplay design aspects of Privateer is that it creates a ladder for the sensors.
Yeah.
In normal Wing Commander, you don't think about your computer systems at all. I mean, we even talked about that today with the Panther. The idea was that they were going to up the sensors as you go up, so they'll become more complex and add more gameplay. Privateer took that same idea, but it did a really clever thing with it. And instead of starting with the normal Wing Commander radar and saying, oh, you can upgrade it this way, it gave you a crummier civilian version. And we saw last week when we fly around, we don't have color graphics at all. It's all black black and white. You know, it doesn't. It often does not identify the ship at all. It'll just say unknown. And there are 9 different options for continuing to upgrade your sensors, divided into three series, as seen here in the manual. And again, interestingly, if you really want to start the game off with as much money as possible, you can sell you start with the Iris Mark II instead of the Iris Mark I. So you can sell it, get 20,000 credits, buy the super cheap one, and go from there.
Brave.
The first tier of 3 are all black and white, and as you upgrade them, you get a better chance of identifying your ship. You add ITTS when you get to the top one. If you go to the very lowest level, you can't even lock a target to fire missiles. So that's something to be cautious of.
Yep. That's kind of crazy.
Then the second tier of scanners is the Hunter series, which is basically the kind that you have in Wing Commander 1 and 2 and 3. It shows the bad guys as red and the good guys as blue. And as you upgrade that, you can add ITTS, a better chance for lock. And then there's the creme de la creme de the Gemini sector, which is the Omni.
Yeah, the BNS Omni.
The BNS Omni, which is the very best of the best. It costs 100,000 credits.
Yep.
It has ITTS as target lock. It has a higher chance of identification things every second. And it's cool. It's just a really clever way of making it more interesting than Wing Commander starts out with. And I love that as a game design thing. So, my objective today is we're still in the Troy system. I did not get a chance to play over the weekend, but I will announce right now I'm going to stream a couple hours of Privateer this weekend, just casually hanging out, building up my ship in Troy. So we'll have some more interesting way to start next week. But my objective today, as we come back to our game, as you saw us play last time, is I want to get that Omni scanner. That's my target. I'm starting off here with 4,000 credits.
Okay.
We've got to get to 100,000 as quick as I possibly can. I will note, I think I have the issue with the missiles firing fixed.
Oh, good.
I found that my DOS box, you hit Control F1 to remap things.
Yep.
For whatever reason, it had 2 different things mapped to the joystick.
Oh, like Ready to Return and the spacebar?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I disabled one of them, and this is where we got. So... All right, let's pick some missions.
That's great that it hasn't happened in like any of the other games, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a setting in Privateer, so...
okay.
Okay, we're going to defend an Achilles.
Sure.
Load of grain to New Detroit.
Nope.
No. Pirate in the at Helen. That might be a good one. Pirate Convoy Nav 4. That's probably a good one.
There you go.
You got
Patrol. Why not?
Patrol at this point. Troy System Nav 3. That'll be on the Patrol. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
You're fully loaded out. We got missiles and everything.
Sure.
Let's double check. Because who knows what we did last week?
Nothing to repair.
I wonder if everything was just damaged and blown up. A great way to start the night. Yeah, we got full missiles.
10 missiles. And I think last time we got a repair droid, so...
Yes, I think that's what you ended on. Yep, you got your repair droid to save us some cash.
So right now we have, if we go to our sell, we see we have an Iris Mark II. It will get us 20,000 when it's time to sell it.
Yep.
And what we want is this Omni right here for 100,000. So we need to make about 75,000 credits.
Yes.
Which shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, shouldn't be too bad. Especially since we're very one-minded about this. All we care about is getting a radar.
So, ask some questions during the chat. We'll talk and be friends and have a fun day.
Yes, we will do our normal as we... I can hear just enough through your headphone next to me those beautiful, beautiful sounds of Privateer.
They're good, and I will turn that down in case it's a problem for the show.
Oh, yeah, in case it shows... That's a good point. Yeah. Yes. This is a great part, though. Oh, so we got some pirates.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh, we get some pirates right off the bat. Okay, look, I didn't see missiles go, so that's good. Alright, so he's going to use the... he's going to talk his way out of it.
That was one I could talk down.
Yeah, he's talking his way out of it. And actually, one thing is... See if you can go near the pirate and see if we can get just show people how the colors aren't always that... I guess maybe this one might be good, but it's killing Andromeda, isn't it? See, because there, right, it's very hard to tell the difference between, like, that doesn't look as dark as it did in the actual...
You know what you can do is, have you ever done this before? It's, you can do V to view...
view the target.
And look, they're attacking this Drayman. That's cool, that's emerging... I love that, We're going to watch them attack a Drayman, and it's like, it's totally unscripted, it's just a thing that will happen.
Yep.
And because I warned them off, I'm going to let that merchant die.
And yeah, this is one of those cool tricks too that you could do is you let the Draymond die, and then you go and if you had a tractor beam, you could tractor
I
in
could collect his
all
dump.
of the
Yeah.
and then it's a few extra 100 credits right there.
Although it's entirely possible that he will take them.
So do you use Windows MIDI or have a custom one? I believe you use a custom one.
Yeah, I've got a sound. Well, you know what? I don't think we can befriend these guys.
They might be mission pirates because you had pirates as one of the.
Yeah.
Well, you got plenty of IMREX if need be. So do you use a sound font? Is that what it's called?
Yes. There's a guy who does fantastic private. He does fantastic guides to enhancing your GOG experience. It walks you through how to get the aspect ratio right, how to get the controls right, and so on. And I have used the one recommended by him, which I do not know off the top of my head, but it is attempting to emulate a Roland SC55, which is what I use when I'm playing this on a real machine. I have one over here.
Gotcha.
But GS MIDI is the one to go for Privateer. So the original Wing Commander 1 and 2 used what's called LA MIDI, which is best known to people with the Roland MT32.
Okay.
This is very not technical because I'm a tech idiot, but basically a sound card, it takes a sampled audio and plays that audio within the limitation of whatever that sound card is. A MIDI is more like a musical instrument that it says you get like a script and it reads that script and says, oh, play piano here, drum 4, piano 7, trumpet 4, and they write music like that. So one of the confusing things is that there are different standards. In the late 1980s, Roland's synthesizer, the LA synthesizer, became popular with games for a couple reasons, but largely because Sierra was really plugging them. Sierra they would even send you like a tape that said you could order a tape from Sierra that would give you a sample of what this would sound like, and then they would sell you the synth module. You know, the synths and things were not even initially created for.
What a jerk! Whereas you killed him, he got a good shot on you.
Yeah,
Popped all your things there. Popped all your ports.
So Sierra kind of made this a game thing, that if you wanted high-end sound, you could have a special soundtrack with Roland MIDI, and composers loved it because they could write these big, beautiful tunes.
Okay.
And as that became popular, there became this movement to, it shouldn't just be Roland doing it, there should be a general MIDI standard. And you've heard that term before, GM, General MIDI. So later games in 92, 93, we'll typically have a general MIDI soundtrack, which uses these standardized sounds. If we go back and try to play an LA MIDI game with like a Sound Blaster from a little bit later, the musical notes won't quite be right. Sometimes it'll sound like, if you fire your gun, it'll sound like a piano because it's using some special
confused.
Roland sound.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's calling for a different sound than it should because it doesn't know what they are. Okay.
So it all gets standardized in something called General MIDI, and a lot of the mid-90s games, X-Wing, this, make even much better use of General MIDI than anything else.
Yeah, because Leha was asking, wasn't a selling point of Wing Commander 1 having General MIDI?
No, Wing Commander 1 is LAPCI, or LA MIDI, which you would play on an MT32, or the internal version, which is the LAPCI. But then General MIDI... I forget what I was saying.
I asked you if it was a selling point for Wing Commander 1 to have the General MIDI, but you were explaining that no, it used the LA one.
Yeah, it uses LA MIDI, and it's fantastic, but it's not quite General MIDI.
Gotcha. General MIDI, here to serve you. Sir, you're looking a little beat up there. Not too bad, but...
So... the point I was trying to get to was that Privateer uses GS MIDI, which is a variation of General MIDI.
Okay.
This will play fine in a General MIDI device from the 93, 94, or any modern sound card. But if you happen to have one of the Roland devices that it was composed on, they would have extra sound samples that it could make use of. So
cool.
Sometimes in Privateer, there's some spectacular like drum stuff in Privateer and Armada that sounds much, much better in a Roland setup Because it is.
Because that's what it was made on.
Yeah, it was made on that, and it has these extra calls that otherwise it will ignore, but it sounds deeper and better and cooler. And I'm a fan of trying to get it on the original hardware and trying to get it to be the sound that the original creator would have wanted.
Yeah, the sound they wanted you to hear. So yeah, on this, like stuff like this, it's just beautiful. You know, I mean, Privateer has fantastic sound effects and music. Oh no, it's some retro biatch.
In fact, I own an MT32 that was used at Origin at that time, which is as close to using the original hardware as I think you can get.
I think that would be kind of it. I don't think you can get any more original than that. Hey boy. Oh, look at he's messing with you. He's going to stay right outside, like right at the max of your gun range until his...
I think this is a lady.
Whoa, she's a lady. You can see that big blue stripe at the bottom? Not really. It's hard to see the eye. It kind of just looks like a splotch.
Yeah, the eye does not read so well.
No.
But
yeah, it's very hard to tell them apart. Like, if you put them in game near each other and they weren't yelling at you, you'd probably have a bit of a challenge until you noticed one little piece of it to say, oh, okay, that's that one. Because they sometimes, you know, you go through so many Talons in Privateer that, well, they kind of blur together.
A lot of Marys.
We are going for the BNS Omni, Michael. We're going all the way to the top.
Yeah, we're going to treat ourselves to a BNS Omni.
Yep. Treat yourself. I don't know if I'm trying to think, like now when I play Privateer 2, or Privateer, I feel like I just go straight from the Iris to the Omni. I'm just like, I suffer through this and just like, let's just make some money.
And now there are all sorts of different MIDI devices you can use with this. I like to use an SC55 because it's so cool. It's an external module. Mm-hmm. You can mount it right with your MT32, and it glows orange, which that's a selling point for me. I also have what's called a Rap 10, which was Roland's attempt to make a sound card for end users. You know, most of what Roland made was intended for musicians.
Yeah. I think of like my music class, and when you talk about these, I remember my music teacher talking about, you know, he was like, you gotta hear about this cool thing called MIDI, and we were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, MIDI is one of those things that sounds so annoying until you actually dip your feet into it and you're like, whoa, this is so good.
Yeah, especially when, you know, I remember, it's funny because I think Mr. He's now the principal of my old elementary school. He was our middle school music teacher, and he would like get the MIDI keyboard out. He'd be like, check this out! And like, just messing with people, showing how fun it could be.
That's one of those things that happens on like a sitcom where the teacher from the one school is then the principal of the next. That's like Mr. Feeney level.
Yeah, except he went down. He was the middle school music teacher, and now he's the principal of the elementary school.
Well, having worked in school administration, it's a promotion no matter what.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. As someone who does not like school administrations, yes. I understand.
I don't know why I'm calling these Ben Game, but whatever. All right, well, let's see how we did there. We're 20,000 credits, so we made about 15,000. We're going to have to do some repair work.
Yep.
Our guns, our armor, not so bad.
Probably buy some missiles, too.
We should buy some missiles. You're right, so I don't think we're quite going to get 20... Well, we might get exactly 20,000 after this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you used all 10 of them. Oy vey. Ooh, just a little bit under. It's all right.
Still
good.
Okay, let's see what we got. Murderous? Nope.
Nope.
Helen needs a base defense or a long surrounding nav force. Strike seems likely. Okay, a Helen defense mission for 5,000. That's good.
Yeah.
Terraform plutonium delivery. Nope. Murderous pilot. Nope. Troy system. Hector. Maybe. New Detroit. Well,
nope. Yeah, you gotta do that one. Did you get 3 or was there?
I just got 2. There were only 2 I could do.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna, there is a trick you can do if you want to kind of cheese the system. Save your game, take a patrol mission, save the game, take another patrol mission.
Yes, you can cheat
and that works because you can just save your game and reload, and there'll be another assortment of random missions, so you can.
Yeah, you can try to basically essentially get yourself to patrol all the same nav points, And as a result, you know, you can easily get a nice chunk of money. Your guns are off, sir.
I just turned them off.
Oh, yeah.
I was swapping through my options.
Gotcha. Just making sure you're not going into combat unarmed. Your weapons
Now,
down.
this is going to be one of those battles where I'm mostly worried about getting too close to the base and auto-landing.
There's nothing quite as infuriating as that in this game, too. When you start to hear that sound and you're like, no! And you don't know exactly where the base is, so you just start afterburnering away, hoping it's the right direction. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It's just kind of the way it is. But which MG do you mean? They're both MG. Well, there's that guy. Oh, by the very weapons you adore! Is that guy based off anybody, do you know?
I don't know. We should actually look at all the Privateer heads, because there's a lot of them. Privateer figured out you could have a lot of storytelling with just the in-flight VDU heads without using too much memory. So we actually meet a bunch of unique characters. Folks like Hunter Toth, who we talked about in our pilot.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is it, like... I'm trying to think, what... Is it 3 for each faction, almost?
It's something like that, yeah.
Because I can picture, like, 3 pirates.
I can picture 3 retros.
And
There's
3
the old guy, there's the younger snaky guy, and there's the Hellville woman.
Yeah. And then for merchants, I feel like there's 3 or 4. I feel like there's 2 men and 2 women for those.
Yeah, there's one that looks like Wesley Crusher. Yeah. There's the one that looks like
now entering an automatic land.
Brocktoon, Mr. Belvedere.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that. Yeah,
the brain thinks of Brocktoon before Mr. Belvedere. Thanks SNL.
Yeah, there's that.
Let's see what we got. I mean, we got to repair our guns again, unfortunately. These Messin blasters.
I feel like there's only 2 militia, maybe.
That's possible. There may just be man and woman.
Yeah, and then those ones. And same with Confed, I think.
No?
Nope.
No. Yeah, but it's so cheap. Let's see. Now 5. Oh, they're all low, aren't they? Okay. Oof. Well, we will take that one.
Yeah.
And... that I saw military craft. I think the military, but no.
No, like probably, what, a Drouthy, maybe?
No, it's... Oh, gosh, I didn't even think. Could it be Korathi? If it's Korathi, we're boned.
Well, it says military. That's what I'm thinking.
As it disappears in military craft, I was going to assume it was pirates, but yeah, it could be Korathi.
Yeah, I was thinking it was Kilrathi, maybe like 2 Drouthy or something, or 1.
Well, if we're going to fight the Kilrathi, that'll be our funeral. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to buy more missiles, so...
That's alright, you still have 8.
You still have 8. But...
You turned your guns off again, though.
By the way, did you know you could do this? You can jump through all the different options with the bracket keys.
Yes, on your MFDs. Because in this game, they're not called VDUs, they're MFDs. Multi-function space.
Where's the bad guy?
I don't know. This wasn't one of those weird ones where... Well, I don't... Hey, you know what? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, go to try.
All right, well, bonus. That was cool. You know what, though? We
money for nothing!
I feel like the two of us, we often experience very strange incidents in streaming Wing Commander that we don't see in our own play. You know, I've played hundreds of hours this game, and every now and then you see something weird like that. Oh, here's our pirate lady. Prepare to suck void, buddy! Ooh, she even tossed a missile at you. I don't know if it was a scout mission or if it was... It might have... I think it was investigate, yeah. So that might have been why they didn't show up.
Yeah.
Paradroid, get on it.
There's another guy, but I'm not targeting him. Or no?
Nope, it bailed.
Interesting. Well, that was a treat. I mean, we didn't make much money because they were both very cheap missions, but...
Hey, every buck counts, right?
If I only have to kill one person, that's good for me.
Well, I would like to think so.
So any questions from the chat?
Not recently. There were some suggestions about joining the Merchants Guild to try to make some quick cash, but
Yeah, if I join the Merchants Guild, it's a good idea, and I thought about it also in terms of the Mercenaries Guild. But if I do that, most of the missions are going to be out system.
yeah, they're gonna want you.
They're gonna want me to ship
take stuff to like Junction or I gotcha. Yep. Which sometimes those really high paying missions aren't always worth it because it's like you have to spend so long jumping across the sector to get it that it's like ay. What do you?
Repair those, and we will remember to get our missiles back this time.
Mm-hmm.
But 34,000, not too bad. We're getting up there.
We're moving.
I mean, third of the way. We made 30,000. Mm-hmm. See, grave insult to the honor of Azuma weapon. Oh, you know what? This is a producer one. We mentioned last time, but we totally forgot the list of companies. So let's write that down. List of
Michael, the list of companies in Privateer we were going to see.
Okay. 5 nav points in the choice. Okay, there.
There we go. Yeah, that's a good one. It was a 5 naver, but it was only what's that one?
Just nuts, shipping gems.
Yeah.
Okay, well
I'd do the other naver because it was what 6,000.
Yeah, this is a good.
It's a good. This makes up for that last one a bit. Yes, always important to power up your Quinn 4000 and save your game. Since this is the era where, well, if you don't save, you are screwed. There are no autosaves.
Although they may have added that to DOSBox. And
So
I'm
that's just not
jumping right into the fray with...
Sometimes, I feel like that's a game shouldn't have to autosave. You should be the one forced to do that. Like I know it's not always a gameplay component or whatever, but I feel like you should put that responsibility on the player in some cases. Oh man, you are not looking so hot.
Can it be? Has the God of Man abandoned us?
Yeah, they probably are owned by Rome. They're all fronts for Roman Lynch's operations. I'm sure you're right.
Actually, there are several that are specifically
Lynch Industries.
Roman Lynch lore.
Yeah.
It's an interesting list to look through. It's full of in-jokes and clever things, and we will remember to do it next time. It was the first thing I ever made HCL do when I met him. Like, oh my god, this guy's a genius. He can do anything to Wing Commander.
He can. He can. I'm not sure where he is though. I forget if he moved back home. Oh, you be careful. You're pretty close to that base. Yeah, so having only one missile launcher is like having one arm tied behind your back because you're so used to having two and just getting those 2 Imrecs off and then the Talon exploding about 2 seconds later.
Well, we got our base defense done anyway.
Alright.
We took more damage than I would have liked there, but...
Yeah. But the repair droid's taking care of the damage that really sucks. Although, you've made a mistake that I feel like a lot of people make is sometimes you forget to... Well, the repair droid takes care of it a lot of the time, but forgetting to repair your sensors... When before you get that...
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing quite like where you're like, oh, I forgot to go to the software booth. Damn it. Software was something we'll be talking about later, actually, with the D3S5. Also something that does not roll off the tongue, since Fortune uses it once, then just called it the D5.
Yeah, there's like several different... We'll talk about that later.
Yes. Just watching the Talon go down. We're also seeing how prevalent the Talon is in the Gemini sector, since I don't think outside of that Drayman, you haven't really encountered much else.
No, I haven't. And there's lore about that in the manual about how Governor Messock, with his he was ousted from office because he'd been selling surplus Talons to the pirates. So they...
Well, this is more of a funny question. Why does the ship cockpit have like 60 controls on the dashboard and a full keyboard? If you notice between your 2 monitors. Oh, shiitake mushrooms. Prepare to suck void, pal. Oh, baby. Oh.
Yeah, there's another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw him blend in there. Oh, that's all she wrote, Captain. I think you got him. I think you had contact. I thought I saw it hit. Pendasta. I think he's waiting out of range for his shields. Oh, Jesus.
No, I didn't hit him. Oh! Whoa! Good thing we saved.
Yes, this is why it's important to save, kids. All right, let's take 2. Yeah, your shields suck. Careful, you're really close to that base up in your right. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. And people want us to do a Tarsus run. Good God. Uh-oh.
Nope.
Oh, flirted with the zone. You're now entering it, and even that. What is there? There's, well, actually, that guy I think shows up too as a merchant.
No, I think he's
Just the landing.
Yeah.
Maybe. Because there's him, and then there's a woman that also does the landing. I think it's just 2 for that, actually. Can you think of a third one? The woman, the bald guy. Is there a guy with hair?
I think there is.
I feel like there was 2, but I don't remember. I don't remember what he looks like right now. Yeah, I feel like there are 2. I feel like, oh, you know what? He has a mustache. Is it the mustache? I think he has a mustache or something, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the third automatic landing zone guy. Yes. Yes, we got it.
It's possible that each base has a different, each type of base has a different one.
But yeah, I've never really paid that close attention. I will not lie. Alright, moving along.
Let's try our patrol again.
Moving along.
And you can see these higher reward missions. They have 2 enemy ships instead of 1 at each nav point now.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to suck void, buddy.
Yes, Michael says it's based on the planet base we are at. You might not have any missiles? No, you have 2. Oh.
Yeah, you're nailed, pal.
Here we go. Oh, you played chicken with him. I was not sure how that was going to turn out. I said, you know what? You might want to take a slight cruise. Oh, good. You have some distance to the jump point. So you should get at least 1 or 2 of those systems back in the green.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yep, I think so. Well, there's... Alright, shields are back. That's good. Just cruise it along. Your your afterburners are kind of crapped out, too, a little bit. There you go.
There we go. Yep. Droid is getting them. There we go.
Just waiting to go through the big blue sphere.
Saving me money.
That's right. Saving you a few $100.
Of course, we could save money with Progressive. The company did not sponsor us in any way.
That's right. We shouldn't do that because I pay them money. I already paid them the other, like last month or 2 months ago, whenever it was due. Now, let's see what talons await us.
It's militia.
Uh-oh. Keep your nose clean in my sector.
Okay, well, that's
good.
Yeah, that's good.
That helps.
I mean, I think we still gotta have at least 1 more encounter, so.
With that many nabs? Yeah, you gotta. You'll probably have like a random, too, or something.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. We'll meet some randos.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, right. If we were being sponsored, we'd all be working harder, Michael. We would.
Die by the very weapons you adore.
I don't believe in Privateer you cannot use the keyboard to search like you can in Privateer 2, right?
Say again?
Sorry, he was mid-talon killing. Can you use the keyboard in the cockpit to type searches for systems?
No, not in Privateer 1.
That's right, because Privateer 1's got a lot of star systems.
We'll be visiting all of them this week.
That's right.
Rest through the game.
I truly hope we are not going to make a song out of them, though, because that would be really not good. So where you go from Perry to New Detroit to New Constantinople?
Well, New Constantinople used to be...
Yeah, it used to be New... oh my god, I forgot its old name. It used to be... I'm starting to think of that silly song by They Might Be Giants. New Constantinople. New Constantinople. I'm blanking the other name, and now I'm going to go insane. You're not helping me.
Istanbul.
Istanbul is Constantinople. God damn it. That's right. And something about the Turks. That's all I remember from that 90s song.
It's nobody's business but the Turks.
Ah, there you go. Somebody's big They Might Be Giants fan, apparently.
I'm a nerd from the 90s. Of course I'm a They Might Be Giants fan. Are you kidding? I like Star Trek, too.
Oh, tell me more, sir.
The Mystery Science Theater is pretty funny.
Uh-huh. Never heard of her. Yep, your ship's a hunk of crap. You're not going to find anything different about it. Ooh. Here we go.
Here's the part where... Oh, no.
Keep your nose clean in my sector.
No contraband detected.
Would you piss off the militia somehow? Oh, you got
They're
militia
fighting
help.
somebody.
They are really... Yep. And I like how he's shooting at you.
Dump your cargo before you blow, will ya?
Oh, just kill the pirate. What are you doing? Now the militia's gonna come after you.
Clear for clicks.
They're not gonna like what you're up to.
Is there another pirate?
There's a bunch of them there, yeah. Oh, somebody's putting some holes in you. Nope.
They are no more.
Oh,
Militia got him.
thanks for the help, militia.
I was going to take the cowardly way out. Gosh, but just hearing whoever's getting hit right now, that hurts my brain.
Oh, that bang, bang, bang.
The armor is being hit, oh my god.
Oh, that's such a not good sound, because you're like, is it me? Wow, we're getting a whole lot of the old retro guy.
Yeah, not good.
It's none of his, none of the skinny young guy showing up, it's just the old guy. The same freaking loadout. You're tearing me apart! Wrong character! Retro jerks. This really makes you appreciate when you get to those leaderships and you just slice through talons like they're not even there.
Yeah.
Like you kill hundreds of talons in the course of this game, if not almost 1,000 if you're really paying attention. Is it possible to get the retros to like you without Roman?
No, in fact, I don't think even he can make the retros like you.
Gotcha. They're just jerks no matter what.
Oh, no. No.
The hell of you. This might be...
You're about to suck void, buddy.
Oh, it's militia. It's militia firing at him.
Yeah, that was a random encounter, so I friendly fired him rather than joining that battle again.
Yep. Did you get the nav point though?
Yes, I got all the nav points. In fact,
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had spawn. We show this little
We
weird.
got our
And this is like
missions
a weird feature too about the nav computer with that. It has just a big arrow button, so it's not. It's really different compared to the other things that have a more kind of intuitive layout.
What we're gonna do right now is try to race to the base before they get a beat on me. There's two talons after me.
And there's the lady. You're now entering automatic landing.
That's the one I think
zone.
it was Wesley Crusher. Hey,
I
we
can
made
see
it.
that. I can see he actually just returned a few episodes when I was watching. He got to kiss a very young Ashley Judd, who's doesn't really look like Ashley Judd today. It looks slightly different.
Well, time
A
and tides.
A Kilrathi friendly run. I feel like that wouldn't be that hard, since unless you go into that quad.
Yeah, it's not gonna come up much.
Yeah, or unless you get a whole lot of missions looking for them.
Okay, well we're over 50,000, so we're actually at 70 because we got 20,000 that we'll get when we sell. So we're 77,000. We're pretty close.
We're good, and we're an hour and 43 minutes as well.
That's good because we're going to be about a 3-hour show. That'll make sense.
You said by the numbers earlier.
Let's see. No. Maybe. Maybe. No. Yes. So, okay, we've got 3 Troy ones.
A lot of dueling. It's not bad. It's another, what, like 15?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're good now, right? Yeah, we're good.
Yep. The drone is just flying around now, doing its thing, because there's no stealth tech technology for it to hunt down. So it's just doing whatever it does. Doing whatever it does.
Yeah, it's not. It's an odd thing because it doesn't quite make it. It's an odd coincidence that I am both responsible for the thing becoming activated, and I have to do something totally unrelated for it to target me specifically.
Yes. You have to steal from its creators in order for it to care about you, which is kind of weird. But the Celtech, they're weird people. Right? We don't know. At least they're not the man to. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's another one where there was no opponent there.
Well, I thought you had money. I thought you had another mission still hanging there. Because I'm like, why the hell are so many nav points still red? So I didn't think you did. You didn't do any patrols. You just did.
I did. Yeah, no patrol this time.
It was just a.
Oh
shoot!
Hi, I'm about to get boned.
Yep. That's a great question, Mike. I have also not tried to do that. Have you ever tried being a private? Have you ever tried being a pirate in Privateer? Is it profitable or worth it?
It's honestly not. I mean, you can make money with it,
but it's not that fun because then everybody hates you and chases you down, right? Which I mean would be kind of okay, but all the pirate bases are nowhere. Their lanes are so far away from the major bases. Oh, you are. Oh, they got 2 of them. You are.
Yeah, no, I'm boned.
Yep.
Oh, not good.
Not good. 2 Gothry. You are barred.
In fact, I'm going to bail out of that mission because there's no way.
Did you just? Which one did you load though? Oh, is that the one you just did?
Yeah, it's still gonna have the mission, but I'm just not gonna go to that nav point.
I gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah, smuggling is not that bad. I mean, I actually the only time I ever smuggle is usually after you get the secret compartment, and then I always use that. I try to use that for like the when I smuggle drugs.
Yeah.
The
most profitable thing to do as a pirate is to get a galaxy, and you find a couple of Draymans, and you take all their cargo and you go and sell it.
Yeah. Which is like kind of fun for a bit, but that gets really old.
Yeah. But different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, it'd be cool if there was like a pirate mission computer, that only gave you like piracy type missions, but. Yep. Yeah, I used to sell a lot of Brilliance and Ultimate. Pushing them. Pushing it. We're making our way. Yeah, it would be kind of cool if there was sort of a way to truly be like good, bad, and the ugly in this, but.
I mean, and there's pirate bases. I mean, I think if you want to be a pirate, spend some time in the Ferris Quadrant, which you don't.
Yeah, nobody really wants
too much otherwise.
It's asteroid. Although once you figure out the asteroid trick, even that doesn't really. It still makes it annoying because you're just up down. Yeah, there's the mustache man.
Yeah, that's the Mr. Belvedere.
Yep.
Fellow.
Mr. Belvedere. Taking deep. Yeah.
Alright, the only thing that really took damage this time was my pride. You do not fight Kilrathi at this point.
No,
I should
definitely.
have read that mission description closer.
Yeah, that's not...
I may still be stuck with this. I may just be able to
Yeah,
pick
you
two.
probably will for a bit.
Let's see. Pirate ships that nav 2 might be an easy one. No. 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 Nav 5, no.
Yeah, that was hardly any money.
No, so I'll take Nav 5 and what was that other one? Pirate ships at Nav 2.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it would be cool if they had a little mechanic for the pirate bases where they'd give you a few, go intercept this Drayman and to bring back, X amount pieces of cargo.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool little thing they could have, a little nice little add-on for like Righteous Fire or something like that.
Yeah, really anything to give pirates something to do. Or
Yeah.
maybe like exclusive tech you can only get at a pirate base.
Like some type of, maybe like a weird Kilrathi gun or something that they had ripped off. Like that, like one of the Armada guns.
Something like that would be cool.
Yeah, like a flux cannon or the sonic one I can't remember the damn name of right now. Yeah, something like that would be cool. You can buy like Fang IFFs and they like cost more money, but they do something. Yeah. Just not a lot of death, but just a little bit. Oh, you should turn. Whew. You're about to suck void, buddy. About to suck void. Yeah, Pirate Clan maybe would have been a thing, but yeah. But then we're starting to overload this a bit.
What if there were 5 different pirate clans that were...
That's right! And there were 18 player ships. And there are 2 men willing to sing a song about them. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, Mike said he's putting all these in notes for when we acquire the privateer IP, and we can, do our own.
Call us, Electronic Arts. We'll make you an amazing privateer game.
We'll make you a song. As we slowly cruise. Oh. There's an afterburner ring just floating through space. Floating through space. You're tearing me apart!
And I guess we have to fly to the nav point.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than doing that and forgetting to fly through and being like, damn it, why is it still red? Mm-hmm.
Close enough? No, but I'm close enough to be able to see it anyway.
Which unplayable privateer ship would you wish to fly?
Stealth tech drone?
Yeah, sure, that's an easy one. I was thinking something like the Stiletto, just to have all that speed.
Yeah, it would be interesting to have that experience. By the way, I'm going to let my droid
Save you some cash. Yeah, you got some expensive repairs there. Yeah. I mean, for me...
Yeah, Stiletto would be interesting.
Because that's the only one we kind of don't really get. And then Standoff punishes us by putting us in that wonderful hunk of junk, which is alright.
Yeah, everybody says the Demon, but...
Demon's like... It looks cool, but it doesn't really... There's not much that draws me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess really we should say the Talon.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to fly the Talon.
You destroy enough of the damn things, you might as well get the chance to fly one.
Let me see how the other half lives.
Yeah, yes.
Oh no, but you know what? I would love to fly the Gothry.
Yeah, Gothry would be good.
The Gothry is I've always
Centurion
wanted to fly
on
the
drugs.
Gothry. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
And in fact, the various version you fight in Special Operations has 6 torpedoes standard. Like,
Yeesh.
That thing kills destroyers.
Yeah. Although I don't know how often you even see that when they encounter each other like that. You don't get too many missions where you'll see like a paradigm and then
No, you don't.
or even K-Max on that.
Come on, guys. Work, robot, work.
I do not believe New Constantinople can be flown. It's a space station, gentlemen.
Yeah, in fact, if you notice, the stations are all static images. They're just 2D.
Yep.
There's no other views of it, so we can't, like,
Fly
rotate around.
Yeah.
Well, that's close enough. We're going to sell that targeting system anyway.
All right, let's see what we got. Bum ba da ba.
Let's get our repairs in.
Yep. All right.
All right. That's very close to...
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's
Maybe
see.
one more for a little bit. Good.
Yeah, let's see. Base under siege, Achilles,
Pirates.
400.
Nope.
Nope. Versus Nev 1.
yeah.
That one, maybe. Helen seeks tough pilot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
that's one.
Let me take those two base defenses. Try system.
Yeah, I remember when I would fly up into oh my god, I'm blanking. What's the name of that quad with the upper right? Is that Potter?
Potter, yeah.
Yeah. I would go, over towards the border and try, into Kilrathi space, hoping just to get like a K-Mech or get Confed and like capital ships to fighting or something. But that never happens.
No, I don't think there's any nav point where that can happen.
Yeah, which kind of because I remember I spent like a lot of time trying to be like, I want a K-Mech and I want to see a Paradigm and I want to see them duking it out.
In fact, the way that Privateer is structured is basically there is a. We've got a hunter helping us, apparently. In a Centurion.
Oh, hello.
He's going to do our job for us.
Sweet. Well, thank you, sir.
One more for the resume.
Oh, yeah.
One more for the resume.
I know, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember some of their lines in there. My brain is failing me at the moment.
So basically, at any nav point, there'll be 4 or 5 different possibilities for what could happen there. There's a chance that 2 Centurions or 4 Draymen or whatever Talon. And if you have the hint book, you can actually go through and see what the chances are.
God.
So you can say, at this nav point, there's a 15% chance that there'll be a Paradigm. But there's no mixing at all.
Gotcha.
So there'll never be a chance where there's a Paradigm and a K-Mech, I don't think.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Privateer 2 is totally random.
So I'm even trying to think, what is it? Isn't there like one... I feel like there's one escort mission in this with a Paradigm or something?
I mean, the end game mission, they're all going
Yeah.
to be hanging around.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Because I always used to want to do that type stuff where it's like, yeah, let's go to the front and help the military.
No, I mean, once a nice challenge, once you have your fully loaded Centurion, is just do the run through Kilrathi space, which is tremendously fun.
Yeah.
Just
Hoping and praying.
yeah.
Because there's nowhere to land to fix yourself. There's no pirate bases out there. So, yeah, you can screw yourself really easy.
Oh wait,
Got one more.
no.
Oh, is that the...
That's the Kilrathi.
That's the
I'm
Kilrathi,
not
okay.
going there.
All right, man. Let's not go there then. Nope. No questions at the moment. Just the producer saying, sit back and get paid. Kilrathi Corridor. Yeah, it is a good one. Oh, without question. All right, we got 82.
Oh, no, we're not quite there. We need to do one more mission.
All right. One more mission.
Retro at Helen. That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Is there any other Helens or anything? Let's see. Skybird scanners.
Yeah, there's all sorts of cool names. You see the Zuma weapons. All you know. Why don't I just take this one? I mean,
The Skybird.
Skybird.
I have no. I'm watching on the other screen, so it's so delayed, so I have no idea what I'm seeing.
And accept
Oh no! I saw myself pick it up.
traitors to humanity, feel our wrath.
Oh, there. That's in the other. That's a different. Wait, maybe there's 4 retros. Because that was a bald guy with long hair who didn't know that he's bald and needs to come to accept the fact that he's bald.
Hey, if God wanted that man to have hair,
There's, you know, there's certain things as a bald. Yeah, see that? That's, you know, not everybody can pull off my sweet haircut, but my God, no one should ever pull off that haircut. That's like when I had to give my dad the talk. When I was like, Dad, you have a comb over. It's embarrassing. And now we have the same haircut. Look, it's the Terminator guy
yeah, it's the Terminator.
with some really weird sunglasses. I always thought they were so, like, too deep. They're like cups.
I'm just gonna let this.
it's
heal,
hanging out in
so
space.
I need. Yeah, there's a very narrow margin for money. I don't want to.
Yep. We're just sitting here hanging out in space, 2 dudes in a Tarsus.
Yep.
Yep, I'm
Look
sitting.
how friendly the Tarsus is. It's
Look how
it's so
look what you did.
comfortable.
Look at my seat. It looks like garbage. Wipe this thing down, for God's sakes.
Is that the seat from Alien? I think it might be. To look that up.
Oh no.
Work faster, robot.
Right? Actually, I have a question. I never thought about this. When you get damaged, do those other screens show damage effects as well, or is it just
No, they're just in the front cockpit.
It's just the front one, so like those panels wouldn't blow off or anything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, this is such a lost art, seeing the other cockpit sections.
Yeah.
They drop it after Armada, and to all of our loss.
Yes. Very much so. Yeah, when I was playing Standoff the other day, I was like, oh man, and then because they use a trick to get the cockpits. I don't know how they do it by laying it over.
Yeah, it's a mesh over the.
Yeah, over the in front of the HUD, I guess would be the way to think about it. Yeah. Yep, I just got to Warsaw. Well, actually, no, I finished the Battle of Warsaw. Yeah. What is behind? Do you know what's behind the? Do we know what's behind the pilot door, or is it the cargo bay? A nice galley.
No, we don't know. I mean, you can carry passengers, so there must be space back there. I'm gonna sell my Iris Mark 1, 104,000. Give me that sweet Omni.
Oh, look at.
All right.
And you know what's fun? How much did you start with? 4,600 something.
4,600.
Yeah, 4,000.
Yeah, I'm back to very close to
So
that.
basically, we've done an hour and not much has changed except now we have a kick-ass radar. No, you got to show off the radar.
I would definitely have to show up the radar, but let me
save. Yes.
let me save that.
Yes.
Should I take a mission to show off the radar? I mean,
Yeah,
it
find
makes
something.
sense. Yeah, find something easy. Garden group, now 7.
Defend a Helen. Where are you on Helen now?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well do that.
Okay.
Why not? All right, so this one now you're gonna get ITTS.
It's gonna be like you're seeing for the first time.
Yeah.
And I have been in a situation where I've been blind for a year, and this is exactly what it's like to be able to see again. Honestly.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of different things, right? In the past we hadn't even noticed it, but the radars themselves.
The actual shape
are
of the
different.
radar changes depending on the company. Yeah.
Yep. So now we have the Omni layout, which looks different than our past one. But now we have full color, so the pirates or retros are in red, and we'll have ITTS when you close enough, or if you engage it.
And you may notice it very quickly identified it as a Talon.
Yep.
I don't know why they expend so much effort into that line of thought, because
You face
you
Talons.
obviously can figure it out very quickly yourself.
Yeah.
But
It must have been something that seemed more interesting. I mean, I guess they probably were like, we need to do something for it, but
but you
It's
very
not-
quickly identify it. I should have ITTS somewhere.
I think you have it turned off, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Hit there.
There we go.
There's And it's also cool in this because then when you have multiple guns, it'll give you multiple colored
Yeah.
pips. So let you know where to aim.
Yeah, this is the creme de la creme
Yes.
of scanners. And you probably saw the base was yellow. The base is yellow now. It's a new color. This is better than the stuff the boys in the military have.
Yep. Yeah, this is like the super fancy. Oh, missiles are yellow. Base is gray.
But it got a yellow.
Oh yeah, yes,
rectangle,
yes. The target box. Yes, yeah, it's that one. Yeah. All the other colors, you'll be if you're familiar with the regular games. They'll have that because when we see, unfortunately, there's nobody friendly, so there's no blue on the screen.
Agricultural planet. Yes, it's like coming in from the cold.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, hello, old friend. I don't know if I've seen it where it actually had that the background planet so close to Helen like that before.
It's a nice effect.
Yeah.
So yeah, this weekend I'm gonna max out a Tarsus. It's gonna be my objective.
Oh,
I'll spend a
baby.
couple hours maxing out a Tarsus.
Okay.
I'll stream it. I don't have a specific time. Whenever I'm done, yeah, I do a lot of my work on the weekend also. So whenever I'm free, I'll spend a couple hours, and I will tweet about it and invite anybody who wants to join. And it won't be as produced as this. I'll just kind of
Like
chat friendly. Let's.
Prepare and then up your missiles so then we come back next week. We won't have to
Yeah,
even worry
yeah.
about it. Even though we'll say, did we do that last time? Yes, we did.
So let's, while we wait, let's see what we could upgrade. We could do the shields. That's gonna. It's tough in a Tarsus because you lose
Gunpower.
You lose gunpower when you do it. But
Then you're gonna do your engine upgrade.
what do I have already? Iron missile shield generator. I have an engine upgrade already.
Okay.
I've got afterburners. I've got the droid.
Playsteel. Yeah.
So definitely get the ECM.
Interesting. See, I never really bothered with the ECM.
Oh, you're gonna save money with the ECM because you're not.
Yeah,
getting
repairs. Yeah.
We'll get tungsten. We'll get a second missile
launcher.
launcher. Get the jump drive.
Yep.
Get the ECM and cargo expansion for the hell of it, and we'll get the map. So that'll be our goal this weekend.
There you go. Yeah.
And that's honestly maybe 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, and the way you're doing it strictly with mission computer missions, where there's other ways.
The guild memberships. Let me get the guild memberships.
There's guild because everybody has kind of different ways of doing it. Where when I start grinding, I do all mission computer missions, and then I always bring like whatever the cargo hold I can take is of I'll take off at Helen and I'll land at Achilles, and I'll always have then the next time I'll go back Achilles back to Helen or Detroit. You know what I mean? To always kind of have a few extra 100 credits coming in from that stuff.
So our next part of our show is book club.
You didn't want to do Cargo Bay?
I don't have anything to share this week because it's all been just server parts. So I don't have any new Wing Commander stuff for Cargo Bay.
I don't know what.
You know what to say?
Is this still all wings considered? You didn't get anything.
I tell you what.
Oh my
I'll get
gosh.
something really good next week.
Oh yeah, sure. Here, I got you some used crackers. They've been in my pocket a month. Thanks.
No, I'm going to promise next week we'll have something really good in Cargo Bay.
All right.
Unless it doesn't come in time.
All right, so now we're gonna hop around and do our book club.
So if you've never been part of the show before, you are welcome to join us in book club. We have a voice channel on the WC News Discord, which, by the way, any of you are welcome in the WC News Discord at any time.
Yes.
We're friendly folks. We have kind of grown to the point where we're no longer interested in stupid internet battles.
Yep.
It's just nice to hang out with friends. And we are happy to have people from all walks of life there. You're welcome anytime, but we have a special voice channel for the book club. We're going to be talking about the next 2 chapters of Fleet Action. If you've read Fleet Action, come on in. We'd love to hear from you. And, any perspective is valid. We ain't fancy. And here is book club. And I am going to join the chat. This is always the difficult tech problem. Hey, guys, let me know if you can hear me. Yep, I've got Leha. So, all right. So we've got our folks online. Welcome to the next edition of Book Club. Why am I the only one who shows up in the little chat now? I don't know. But
because mine. Oh, I messed that up horribly.
Yeah, do me a favor. Yeah.
It's getting hairy in here.
Yeah, it's getting hair. Yes, we already made that joke in the episode title, but we had a wig and he wanted hair, so.
Yep.
Do me a favor, check on the actual stream and make sure we can hear everybody else. I think people can, but make sure they're coming through on Discord. I will start this one as I usually do by.
It was just when I turned the sound back on mine. It's still at the car. I was chatting about cargo bay. So.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get it.
Give it
give it a sec. Because it's really right there.
So I will, as usual, start this one by going through the 2 chapters. When last we left, the crew of the Tarawa had arrived in the Landreich, where they are going to be serving this little rinky-dink colonial governor. We met President General Kruger, who is their little tin-pot dictator. And we have the hint that this is all part of a Confederation special operation. We know that the Karathi have sent a precious stealth fighter to try to figure out what's going on. Hunter has shot it down, but the Empire knows.
I know it's so bad.
The Empire. By the way, let me pause for a moment to explain what this wig is. Why we happen to have this wig in our home.
Did I put it on right? I did.
This was Burger King's completely forgotten Super Bowl promotion. Like 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, they had this thing. It was like, order Burger King via DoorDash, and we'll mail you a secret treat for the secret surprise for the Super Bowl.
There we go.
And so we did that. We were all excited, and because I love terrible marketing tie-ins. That is
yes. Hold on, I got my hair. In my
and
ears.
what came in the mail was a box with
Crap.
an empty bottle of squirt ketchup.
Ew.
And this wig. And apparently their whole Super Bowl gimmick this year was supposed to be, they had the Andy Warhol video of him eating a Burger King burger. And that was their commercial. And you were supposed to dress up as Andy Warhol and eat a burger. You got a free Burger King burger that you could order from DoorDash also. And it was a whole thing, and it was stupid, and everyone forgot about it. But we got that wig.
It got hairy. Oh, I can hardly hear when I have these on. We've had our fun with it now?
Yes, we have.
All right, good. Let's go back to normal.
So at the end of the last chapter, we find out that the Tarawa and her sister ship, CVE-6 Normandy, are not going out on patrol with the other carriers. They've got a secret mission. Come to this chapter, and we find out what that secret mission is. We have heard throughout this book already that the Karathi are building this secret fleet. The Confederation highly suspects it. The Karathi have already told us from their point of view they're building these secret carriers in a region of space called Harry. And what the Harry were these they're not necessarily bug, but they're hive mind aliens. And they were something that the Karathi wiped out 100 years ago. And they have this whole swath of burned out planets. Because their whole species is they use up one planet and they go on to another one. It's like an insect hive sort of a thing. So the Karathi conquer them. The Hari are all dead. They all killed themselves when they were defeated. And they have this region of these thousands of star systems that are totally empty. And the Karathi have been building their secret fleet there, hidden out there in Hari space. So it's like 1,000 light years from Kilra. So if you taco fold the Confederation in half, this is the equivalent of the McLean system, or the far out, untouched by the war section.
We'll talk about what's happening out there later. Or will we?
Basically, I realized I'm not wearing my space.
Oh, no wonder you weren't doing
wonder
so
I
hot.
haven't. No wonder.
Yeah,
The time we died in privateer. There we go.
Yeah, that's why you died twice. Yeah, Jesus. That explains everything.
So the Tarawa and her escort are going out to these. They're going to sneak behind Karathi lines, and they're going to do some signal intelligence. And we meet a new character who's going to be important throughout the Wing Commander novels, a man named Vance Richards, who is the Confederation's... He's their head spook. He's the guy in charge of special of signal intelligence, secret missions type things. The spy master type character. We meet him and...
The Terran Jukaga.
What's that?
The Terran Jukaga.
Terran Jukaga, basically, but without the political aspect.
Yeah. Vance don't care.
he has brought with him something called the Deep Space Surveillance System 5, or D3S5, or DS5. It gets called various
or
things.
D5, yeah.
D5, yeah.
It just keeps getting... He gets lazier as he keeps mentioning it.
And basically what it is it's this carrier flight deck sized...
Computer?
Storage? The thing I immediately think of is in Los Angeles, where there's no weather, but they would always have these commercials so that everyone would compete for who had the Doppler helicopter, or the Doppler vehicle. And the most ridiculous one was like this monster truck that was the Fox 5 Doppler van, and it just had this giant radar in the back of it. There's no weather.
Yeah, to look for clouds?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they would have all these like extreme produced commercials and like the... Anyway, basically this giant sensor system, and what it does is it can take thousands of streams of enemy contacts and all their broadcast media, and it brings it all, and their intelligence analysts who study it, and they say in the past, we had to get really close, we had to have someone in the stars, in the Kilra system to get this kind of data, or we would have this buried in a moon and we would get slight amounts of it. And this is the first one that's portable enough to basically fill up the flight deck of an escort carrier.
Yeah.
And the goal is to jump behind enemy lines, not to the Kilra system, but within the 500 light year distance of this system, and start reading what's going on. Mm-hmm. So the Tarawa is not even going to be launching fighters. It's down to 4 fighters now, and it's mostly going to be this. It will have this giant dish on the top, and it's going to go do signal intelligence stuff, and the Normandy will cover it. We also find out that there is a new smuggler craft for Paladin that has a captured Kilrathi stealth device. They make it clear the Confederation has not developed its own stealth technology, but they captured one, and they put it in what's called the Bannockburn, which is a little 2-man smuggler craft that Hunter and Paladin are going to be flying along on the mission for. Yep. We also find out that Tall One was with us last time. At the start of this chapter, we hear that he says, "I'm going to go back to Earth. I have other stuff to do." Wink. And he's going to fly back to Earth in this 11-day or 14-day run with his nephew, both of them in a jump-capable saber together.
No head.
No head. So there's
taking a dump in a bucket in the tail gunner
and
seat.
Like, he can. One of us will nap in the tail gunner's seat while the other one flies.
Sure.
So that's
family
that
bonding.
Sounds unpleasant, but
yeah, with your uncle.
Yeah, so we've all had that road trip.
Yes, we have.
So
we went on that road trip 1 year ago.
Yes,
right now.
So they are headed off to do that. Meanwhile, we jump to the Kilrathi Empire. We're actually switching back and forth.
A lot of scenes.
Much quicker in the narrative now with humans, Kilrathi, human Kilrathi. So we now see first that Jukaga is... We heard that Jukaga was plotting something last week. He's trying to get the lower clans behind him. Mm-hmm. And now we jump to the Emperor, who is talking to Vakhnaragitaga, the head of the Ragitaga clan, which is traditionally a lower clan, and they are more subservient, we're explained. And what Vak is saying is... Vak is basically tattling on Jukaga. He's going to the Emperor, and he's saying, "Jukaga's doing bad stuff. You gotta do something, teacher." And the Emperor, to his credit, it's like... Why should I trust you? You're all playing games. And Vak is genuinely offended. I've never recognized myself in a Kilrathi character more than this guy, who is entirely earnestly trying to help his boss, and everybody else is having these stupid political battles.
Vak is very insulted by
yes. I think we all know that feeling.
Yes.
So then the Emperor finally goes, "Okay, I see you're telling me the truth, and you're a good guy. Maybe you can bone my cousin sometime."
That's right. And even my niece, it grandniece or great? Yeah. It's stretching.
So we have this Ragitiga Kiranka alliance now that will never be paid off in any way. But
yes, unfortunately.
So then in our next chapter, we jump ahead. The Tarawa is now... First of all, we have some fantastic scenes about signal intelligence in the future and how it works. There's just some really wonderful lore about how they learn about the Kilrathi. We'll talk about it a little bit. Yes. Next chapter, we are now far behind the lines of the Kilrathi lines, and they say, "Oh, we're getting all this great intelligence, and we need to move further in. We need to move beyond Kilra so we can intercept stuff between Kilra and the Hari region." So they do that, and the Bannockburn and the Tarawa split up. The Bannockburn goes deep into the Hari system to find out what it can visually, whereas the Tarawa is actually kept stuck on the surface of a moon
In the Pog
system.
Yeah, is that how you say that? I couldn't figure out because it's GHK at the end there.
Yeah. So they're now stuck because there's a Karathi scout that's searching, and they're basically just passively reading data that comes in. We then cut to we see Baron Chukaga again, and he has this long monologue about do the gods exist? Am I doing the wrong thing? Blah blah blah. And he's basically has decided that he's going to kill the Emperor. He's going to kill the Emperor and Thrakath, set the Empire into a battle for who is next in charge of the throne, and he knows that he will eventually win that battle. And he's mulling over whether or not to do that, and he decides he will. Jump back to the Tarawa, and everyone is celebrating. All the signal intelligence guys are so excited. Bottles of champagne, and Bear goes, "What's going on? What's the news?" And it turns out that they have proven that the Karathi are planning to attack Earth by taking something from the Battle of Midway that Fortune again does in Action Stations later. He forgets he did it here. Yep. But basically, the reason Tallwood went back was to carry this special message, which was so that Earth should put out the Confederation should put out a message that one of their antimatter production facilities on the moon has exploded and it has been a disaster and it's going to reduce antimatter production. So then this ship doing the signal intelligence, reading in all these data, finds that the Karathi are saying, when the code they've recently cracked is saying, Target Naktara, the antimatter facility on the moon of Target Naktara has been destroyed, so they know it's Earth. Yeah. The thing they're talking about attacking is Earth. So that's all exciting, but they realize it's not enough to prove to the civilians that the war isn't really over.
Yes.
Next, we jump back to the Emperor and Thrakath, and it's very, very, very interesting scene because it begins with the Emperor saying, Chukaga is trying to kill me.
Yes.
To kill us, telling Thrakath that. And this is the first time we've seen the Imperial Karathi have the jump on Chukaga. Normally it's this very forced-in thing where Baron Chukaga is brilliant and everyone else is an idiot. Yeah. But they actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
So Thrakath and the Emperor know that there's going to be an assassination attempt, and they say, well, should we stop it? Should we expose him? And they say, no, we'll let it happen. We won't let ourselves be assassinated, but we'll let the attack happen, and we'll blame it on the humans, and that'll be a reason to restart the war.
Yes.
Which, if you're watching the news these days, our country likes doing that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Pictures of stuff.
Yeah. So then we go to Hunter and Paladin in the Bannockburn, and they have breached deep into Hari space where the Karathi signals are going.
Yep.
And there they see it for the first time. These 12 carriers under production, and we get these amazing details, the length and the tonnage and all these specifics about the Hakagas. Those were scenes I reread until the page bled through at the time. And there's all this amazing background lore. Like they mentioned that the Karathi are also building a dozen battleships, giant fighting cruisers. It's really cool stuff.
Bigger than the Concordia.
And then the Bannockburn gets spotted by a Karathi stealth, so it's broadcasting this, trying to get it to the Tarawa, and it's being chased by the Karathi, and it's trying to escape. And then we find out that the Tarawa is still stuck on this planet. It can't receive from them.
After they've done a very badass maneuver.
Yeah. And then at the end of the chapter, we find that we've learned that Chukaga is going to blow up the Imperial cruiser, which maybe is the one from Wing Commander 2. Maybe that's why we never see it again. And then at the very end of the chapter, there's this very pointed, the Emperor contacts Thrakath on an open line, and that's your circle this in red on an open line to let him know, it's time to head off for the ritual. They're supposed to go to the moon for the ritual Pukal, which is the Karathi atonement ceremony.
And they're going to the first moon of Kilroy, not the one that the Tarawa attacked. This is a different one.
So they go, it's time to leave for the ceremony. So we know that they know that Chukaga doesn't know, and that's where we end it. Will the intelligence get back to the Confederation? Will Paladin and Hunter make it through? Is the Emperor gonna go die, be murdered? No, he's not. But that's our cliffhanger as such as it is.
Yeah.
And with that, let me welcome our panel. Let's see who we've got here today. Hey, everybody, you want to go around and say hi?
They don't know. Chris, would you like to start? I'll go.
Hey.
And then Leha, and then Michael.
Hello.
All right, it's Michael. Leha, you missed your spot.
It's fine. They all said hello. we
Oh.
we don't have to micromanage the hellos.
I'm trying to do the best I can.
So to start off, we had one more character to cast. Can you believe we're almost 2/3 of the way through the book and we're still having a very important new character? But
Yes,
it's true.
very important.
And that character is Vance Richards. So I've got our Vance selections queued up here.
What's that one?
Our first one is Chris. Oh, you see what that one is in a minute.
Oh, okay.
First up, this is Chris Reed's choice. You want to explain this one?
Yeah, is it up on the screen yet?
It is on the screen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I picked Michael Keaton just because I just imagined Vance as like a not a super military-looking guy, kind of a nice guy, real round edges. Picture with a sweater and a leather jacket, which I happen to stumble into, just seemed perfect to me. Almost like a hoodie would be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know why. I mean, he's obviously like a, elite super admiral dude, but just, not the same dude. Like a counterbalance to like the Michael Ironside and Kruger last.
Yeah.
Yeah, same vein, but not so mean, I guess.
Yeah. Not
Okay.
so rough, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vance is more polished.
All right, let's see what number 2 is. Why, this is you.
Yes, I went for the guy who basically is the inspiration for Vance Richards, and that's a picture from the movie Midway. On the right is Hal Holbrook, and he plays Joe Rochefort, who is the guy who Vance Richards. Oh, they say they can't hear the guys on from Discord. Oh, you might have that turned down.
Yeah, try it now.
Yeah, can you guys say something?
It's coming through. It's just kind of quiet. If you could bump it up a little bit.
I think we.
Okay. Yeah, bumped you up now.
I think we did now. They'll let us know. So
On the bottom left screen, I do only see Los names.
Yeah, we don't know
Normally
what.
There's several of us on there.
Yeah, it's been doing that lately. We're not sure why.
Yeah,
I did it last time too.
Yeah, it like resized weirdly, but it looks that's like the right icon size. So yeah, we didn't know what was going on with that. So yeah, when I like, even though Hal is not balding, when I picture Vance, I picture Joe Rochefort, the famous cryptologist from the Pacific Fleet in the Second World War. And in that one, he's great. He's got his smoking jacket on. He was a character. We'll talk about him in a bit.
All right, next up we have Leha.
I picked an actor by the name of who probably everybody remembers from Lost. He tends to play something that Chris pointed out, more rounded edged, not so militant and backed, but he did play an admiral, as you see over here, the Pegasus, and he does have a very commanding presence, and he looks very stern here, but he's also somebody that's a little bit more, I guess you could say maybe even a little bit warm, and it does, like Chris said, in opposition to Kruger. I think that comes from him being an intelligence officer, but we'll get into that later.
And I actually had 2 that I thought of over the last couple of days, and I think they're both
both are very good. And
can't settle. So, first one, we had Toby Huss from *Halt and Catch Fire* plays Boz. It's just very much that. The very specific person I imagine is my granddad, that 1940s Army staff officer. He's not in the MacArthur Patton vein, but in the workaday guy at the Pentagon sort of a sense.
The Omar Bradley kind of
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Folks know him from Pete and Pete and other stuff, but he plays this fantastic character named Boz on *Halt and Catch Fire*, who you cannot help but love.
Yeah, you love.
He's this rough-edged Texan, but you
the BDB baby.
He's also the voice of Khan on *King of the Hill*, which would not fly today.
Oh yeah. No.
And the other one, which I thought of just as I got home from hanging out with my mom.
Speaking of moms,
Major Dad.
Major Dad. Speaking of officers,
it's that American but Northeastern, kind of a solid military staff officer guy, and Major Dad to a T.
Yes.
Rough but competent, not with that mean streak that you have in anyone from RoboCop.
Yeah, here you go.
And the other one I was going to share is we actually have not canon, but we have an image of Vance made much later by the Wing Commander Arena team.
Okay.
They were originally going to use him in the single-player story, and that's him there.
Well, he looks a little angry.
He does look angry, but I figured I'd share that. You were going to do special missions for him in Arena. We'll talk about that some time.
Good old
that whole plan and some of the stuff that was cut from that game. All right. Well, what did you folks think about these chapters? Let's start with Chris.
I definitely think the action picks up. So, I mean, it's been building for some time, but these are pages that you don't want to put down. You kind of either very engaging chapters, like the tension of getting into space, deep space, and finally finding the shipyard. Very cool.
All right, Leha.
These are actually two of my favorite chapters.
Hey, Lee, are you standing somewhere weird? Because you keep cutting in and out a little bit.
Let's try that again.
There you
hear me now.
That's much better.
Yes, yeah, you were losing like every third word. You're good.
I'm not moving.
The future.
Yeah. I was saying, among two of my favorite chapters in the book, like Chris said, the tension is ramping up, and we could see who's headed. But there's all. I meant to ask you this: or any kind of historical parallel antenna system that they put on the carrier at all, or is this just?
I mean, we have
out of his ass?
No. I mean, we have similar systems. I mean, as we talked on Discord, this one is kind of ridiculous in that it's picking up signals that it's not even in the line of sight of or in the area of. But no, we have even today technology that they kind of uses. It's kind of the same thing where it sucks in all of the communications it can and then starts prioritizing them into decoding and analysis, and that's kind of what NSA does a lot. But it sort of.
Yeah, and the process changes quite a bit over time. I think what he's kind of tried to get is because he talks about the DS4 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5. It's very parallel to the development of over the 1950s and 60s of reconnaissance aircraft like the U-2 and the SR-71, and then satellites. The initial spy satellites, which they were so ridiculous you couldn't transmit information. So a satellite would literally drop a canister of film, and someone would have to go pick it up.
Which is a crazy video to watch them do that, which is kind of like the probes he talks about that fill up with information.
Yeah, and then you have to go get them.
It blasts out it burst signals, or or it goes back to base, and you have to pull the info out of it. Yeah.
Whereas today we have keyhole satellites, which are basically the Hubble Space Telescope pointed in.
Yeah, like the KH-12s and stuff.
Yeah.
It also reminds me a lot of the German Enigma, and then the Allies' efforts to break
Ultra
into World War II.
Yeah, and a lot of the gamesmanship too. The idea of both sides and spies know the other ones are under them. And
screwing each other. Yeah, that's something that. And I think he pulls the comments about the hey, stupid, we got you, and then the dirty book thing. Like those are actual things that have obviously happened. Yes, I don't know the exact specific, but I've read about people doing stuff to each other like that.
And, a famous example of the extra words to throw off the enemy is.
Yes, I have
that one. Okay.
Yeah, I have it. I wrote it down somewhere where I put something about turkeys trotting.
No, I was thinking about the World Wonders.
Yeah, that's that.
Oh, it's the same one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
We'll
talk about that when I talk about station.
Okay, you got to talk.
Yeah, we'll talk about Joe for quickly.
All right. So,
well, Michael.
Oh yeah, these chapters were great. It's funny because there's not a lot of action in it, but there's so much tension. Like it starts with seeing like this cool spy system and like thinking there's some cool stuff's gonna happen, and something's right around the corner, and then they're like sneaking behind enemy lines, and they're going in the Bannockburn like with the cloak that they can only use for a little bit of time, and then they have to turn it off again, and and then you know something's gonna happen, and then when it finally hits, it's like they jump into that system and just bam, like it just starts, and then it just ramps up and up and up, and it's actually not a lot of action, but I think after all that build up, it's so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah, you make a very good point, because we have known since the prologue that the Kilrathi were building this fleet. We have known the capabilities of this fleet. We've known the specifics.
Yeah.
But there is something about that moment where they finally see our characters who we know, and Paladin and Hunter, these are Wing Commander characters we know. When they finally see it with their own eyes and they figure out what's going on, it's like a key going into a lock. There's something about that moment that's really feels like a payoff. We knew they were going to find it. We knew what they were going to find, but there's something about it that's so compelling.
It's the starting pistol, right? Because from this moment on, now it becomes a race. We're racing from the Hari all the way across the frontier back to Earth for the climax.
Yeah, we very much set up that it is a race now. Thrakath wants to start the war now. He thinks he can win with 5 carriers as long as
no defense.
As long as the Confederation isn't getting its defenses set up, and now it's a race to get those defenses set up, and we know it's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
it's very much we want to know how they're going to do it.
Yes. One thing I thought about this that I'm surprised that you guys did. Did anyone notice how actually long in terms of time in the book this takes? Because these 2 chapters are over a month.
Yeah,
right.
Because it's a long trip out. It's like 11 days in, and
they're sitting. They sit in that system for 20 days, just listening, and then they go further in. Although I think Forstchen loses count of how many jumps it is to Hari, because it's Kilrath to Hari is 30, and I don't think they do. It doesn't seem like Bankenburn does 30 jumps unless they take a weird, shorter route somehow.
Producer, if you would note, remind me to map that out with the references in the chapter.
Okay, I think it comes up to like 16 or 17 jumps.
But there's a reason it has to be so much, is because they need Tallwyn to go back to Earth, which is an 11-day trip, and then they need the Kilrathi to react to that. So there has to be all this time lapse.
Yeah, I liked a lot in this. There was a lot of great. He's pulling a lot of great things from history in this, which was fun. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting to me reading it this time was about the assassination, how they learned it from the Hari, and it's not a word that they know. Yet the Kilrathi, they do assassinate. It's just that when they're doing it, it's typically like a duel face-to-face. But they're still assassinating their leader in that process. They just have a different understanding of how it fits into their politics.
There's another side to it, though, and I wish I had brought this up earlier, was that one another.
You dropped out right as you made your...
again.
The important word dropped out.
I was going to say, okay, they did mention poisoning one another earlier in the book.
Yeah.
Runs afoul of the whole what's assassination.
Yeah.
But Kilrathi have a specific word for poison, or torture by poison, which is Lurkrath, which is established in Freedom Flight.
Which we will establish one day.
Or death by poison. We'll talk about that at the very end of the book club.
I think I didn't put the numbers. I just said it didn't match. Yeah. And that one thing that I thought was cool, like a base in Neptune's moon. That's where we keep all our secret stuff. That's super cool.
Definitely.
And then I did like how he even tipped his cap back to Milk Run by talking about how it was signal intelligence and photographs that get them to be able to pull off Vukar eventually. What are your thoughts, sir?
I love these chapters, first and foremost, probably because no more politics. Yeah. We were not owning the libs at any point in here. Yep. It was just pure good action and world building. We learned so much about the Kilrathi in these asides. In one case, more than we ever needed to know. But we find out that the Kilrathi don't. What's Kilrathi TV like? Oh, they love these dramas about the Gilkar, or the whatever period of their history where there was a mad emperor who had to be taken over by the people. And think, oh my god, the Kilrathi would love Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Until right now, when apparently no one does anymore, which is weird in itself. But
yes.
Learning about Kilrathi pop culture is super interesting.
Yeah, I loved hearing about the TV shows or whatever they were.
Yeah. And that's definitely like a real world thing, but we weren't able to figure out beforehand. Part of me thinks it's from the Germans or the Soviets before Barbarossa, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, the other real world thing we figured out about the Kirathi, and this is taken straight from Hitler, and it's, if you'll forgive my language, we were finding out that Prince Ragnath's dick don't work.
Yeah, his seed is weak. He is, yes.
Which in and of itself is utterly fascinating because he talks about, he should have sired many litters of kittens now.
I actually tried to diagram out the family, too. And I have down here, it says, sickly daughter from dirty hooker.
So, yeah, Thrakath has not been able to, he has a single daughter from a lower concubine, and so there's not a direct heir.
Yep.
And so the next line in the family will be some cousin he picks, and it's very interesting because we get the first bits of that in Wing Commander 2. We hear about his 16 cousins who can be made the heir, and you can actually diagram out some Kirathi families quite a bit because we know about the Dowager Empress from Enrun. Anyway, it's interesting seeing their line of succession, how they expect it to work, how it's going to impact the Empire, why they're doing this right now. There's all these layers of why the Kirathi are fighting the war, why they have to keep the attention on humans rather than themselves, and that's super interesting.
I also, when you're talking about Thrakath too, he also insults his grandfather by saying this: his grandfather sired all these cubs. Oh, they were stillborn.
Yeah,
jeez, really? He has 2 sons, and we'll talk about what happens to the older one, right? Ratha.
Prince Ratha.
Yeah, Prince Ratha. Yeah, and Gilkrog.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how it kind of, Thrakath, this guy, like the villain, is like, there's this thing he's just like really ashamed of.
Yeah, he's very upset about it.
Yeah, it's interesting just to see that other side.
There's no little blue pill for the Kirathi.
Which I think one of the first big points I would want to make in all this is it's very, and I keep saying interesting because I'm not good at talking, but interesting. It's very interesting that...
I said that a lot yesterday.
The Thrakath and the Emperor are, they may be literally impotent, but they are they are actually presented as pulling one over on Jukaga. We kind of draw away the veil on both Jukaga and on them, and we see what they actually believe. Politics is the process of pretending you care about a bunch of bullshit so that people like you. Oh no, I want to do abortions and this and that and that. And they're like, oh, he's wonderful, he's a man of God. And we kind of assume that with the Kirathi. How does Thrakath actually see the world? Is he just like this anger-fueled hate cat that wants to claw at stuff? Or is there a strategic mind? Is he seeing the bigger picture? And same with Jukaga. Is when he's off talking to these other clan leaders and saying, oh, we must work together to make the Empire better. Does he believe that? Or is he trying to take power for himself because he's selfish? And we see that in both directions. Especially interesting to me is Jukaga's thoughts about religion, where he initially says, I don't believe in the gods, and then... oh, but that's totally ridiculous. No Kilrathi has ever thought this. I've been poisoned by the humans.
Yeah.
So it's this interesting baseline that I don't think we ever really appreciate. Does Prince Thrakath believe in the war god Sivar? Is he sitting there thinking, oh, Sivar will do this and I'm honoring him? Or is he thinking on some broader stage, like, this is a tool for me to maintain power? And we kind of see that I think, the Kiranka clan does believe in Sivar and does believe in this aspect of religion. And Jukaga even thinks about it. He thinks, well, isn't it obvious that if this hierarchy exists in life, then surely a similar hierarchy would exist in the afterlife? So there's this very interesting religious discussion and how it plays into politics happening there, and it's not beating you over the head, which is so rare for a fourth-gen novel.
It's nice. It's a little subtler than you'd expect from him.
And there's not one who you think is right either, which again is interesting for a fourth-gen character.
Yeah.
But thoughts on Kirathi, and by the way, the Kirathi ceremony they're attending, it's we've heard so much in the past about the Feast of the War God and the Sivar Shroud ceremony where the Kirathi sacrifice the non-believers, and that's basic pulp for a warrior race. But the ceremony the Emperor is attending is the ritual of atonement. It almost seems like it's like an Old Testament Judaic thing, which is a different take on the Karathi religion. Oh, they don't just have this big sacrifice. They go to Space Church and they atone for their sins. That's super interesting to me.
Space Church.
Space Church, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, now what do we want to jump into for these parts here? Because one of the things, too, I noticed is that, a lot of the other chapters we get 1 or 2 scenes. This has, it's almost like, a page, 2 pages, and then it's scene.
Well, yeah, in fact,
I think rapid fire.
I think that's what Mike is seeing, because he's talking about how it's so much more fun, and it feels like it's moving. And it fortunately is
moving.
He is actually doing good writing here, in that he's making things happen very fast, and he's enforcing that by switching the viewpoints. We're not sitting in one place for too long. We're here and here and here and here and here, and it's great. It works very, very well in this book.
He also has a lot of cool little tidbits that add to some of the characters. Like when Richard shows up and just simply walks from the flight deck right to the wardroom and doesn't miss a beat, and it takes Bear a second to realize, wow, he just got here without thinking about it. Like, how does he know so much? And that, and the coolest thing I think in terms of like tech stuff is the Karathi picket ship asteroid.
Oh,
the one that's just hanging out by itself, and then suddenly you get that last line at the end of the chapter that it blasts off the rock parts and starts heading off toward its own jump point, which then starts the chase.
Which you even wonder, is that going to be... Is that what some of the Origins saw, and they came up with the K-Ha-Haf in Wing Commander 3, the asteroid fighter?
Mm-hmm. Which actually, one of the best uses of mine's probably in Wing Commander, right?
Oh, yeah.
That jerk, I hate that damn thing. I also thought it was really interesting that there was a city worth of humans on Kilraw. So we're talking hundreds of thousands
human
slaves underneath the Imperial Palace now.
Because in the first years of the war, the Karathi, in their initial assault, took over 30% of the Confederation. They have had dozens of human slave worlds that have been feeding their slave system. And in Wing Commander 2, we are told anyway that is why Hobbs has left the Empire. He does not believe in that slavery system, and it has inspired him and places like Korakar to break off from the Empire. So the idea of I think this is discussed at a couple different points. The idea that the Karathi are a hollow shell. They are slave masters.
Yeah, it's the action station they talk about that.
To worlds that, they need these slaves to survive. It's a mutualistic relationship. And this is, I think, the first time we really see that.
Yeah. Our crowd have any thoughts? You guys are really chatty tonight.
We're not really giving them an edge. An opening.
You mean like chapter 7? Yeah, I mean the pacing is great because I kind of said this earlier, but like it feels like really intense, but like not a whole lot happens. Like there's a lot of just like jumping and waiting and quiet, and then
listening.
Then finally they get there, and it's like they get that ping from the radar, and they start their passive scanners, and then they say, "Oh, screw it, let's do the the active scan," and then there's missiles flying. I think only one ship actually blows up. It's just one, a couple missiles that they dodge, and then they're out of there. So in the grand scheme of like Wing Commander missions, it was a pretty easy one. But it doesn't feel like it when you're reading it, though.
And by the way, let's call something out here that I think establishes that everyone in the world is a moron and a jerk. It's the same submarine scene from every submarine movie that we're going to see in the Wing Commander movie. No one in the world has ever complained about that scene in this book. No. It's totally cool that it's a submarine scene in a space book. But of course, you put it in the movie and every reviewer is going to be angry at it.
Yeah, well, he calls it a translite radar burst, so that kind of changes it just enough for us. I do want to say, before we get into some other stuff, that we do, speaking of submarine pings, we have a low hanging ping on the horniness meter this week as well, where he is looking over the signal intelligence text screen, and as she's doing her work, he's like, in another situation, she'd be really dateable. What?
But she's a nerd.
But she's here decrypting, so I gotta keep it in my bear pants for some whatever reason.
Bear pants.
Yeah, I don't know. It just came to me. I don't know.
Although that actually brings up a question that I had about this chapter. Is there a gender problem in this book?
Yes.
Think about it. There are no
Sparks
female characters.
Well, there's Sparks, chief of fighter
There's
maintenance.
Sparks, who gets reintroduced every time, and has done nothing so far.
She
mentioned in a sentence.
She kissed Bear. Okay.
Every time we see
she
a
does get
woman, it
mentioned.
is either to insult or to gratify the main characters, to the point of Kilrathi females. Thrakath has a daughter. Well, fuck that.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Language, sorry.
Oh no, I just meant sorry the daughter thing, but
yeah.
So you've actually made us, I think, rated R now. That's 2 F-bombs in one. I think that's how the and
This is the product of the times. Like you probably, you probably find a lot of literature out there, and it's probably only been in relatively, recent times when that would be, stand out as more of an issue.
Yeah, certainly. I think of all those sci-fi writers of the 60s and 70s who started off just writing books without women, and then by the late 80s and 90s they started writing them with women, and we all were like, no, you guys don't do that. Stop. Go back to writing Foundation, Mr. Asimov. Go back to writing Foundation books that are just a bunch of men talking about the space future, because your women characters are terrible. But I was thinking, here's Bill Fortune, somebody who came up writing for Boys Life magazine. It's interesting. There's very, and it's unfortunate because I totally see it, because back then this was a fandom for
boys.
Yeah. There was no reason to need kick-ass princesses or whatever. But it is unfortunate looking back that it couldn't have been more accepting, and the thing that saves fandoms and communities is allowing a wide swath of people into them. The things that have really endured, Star Trek, Star Wars, they're very much IPs that say men and women are both welcome. Star Trek would not exist if it weren't for the female fandom in the 1970s. They brought it back, and it's kind of unfortunate that we don't have that with the Wing Commander Expanded Universe, in a sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think False Colors, they kind of touch on it, but not really.
Yeah. There's even that. I think it was Siobhan Beeman that has said a few times that they were all about making Wing Commander 2 a game where you could select the gender of the character. Mm-hmm. They said that would be easy swap to make.
I think that was Ellen Guan, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which, by the way, we could do. I think we could make that change pretty easily. You just swap Blair and Angel, essentially. A couple edits to dialogue, and then you can play as a female character. I guess you have to change the story towards the end of the game where your character would be attacked by Jazz rather than your boyfriend. But that's fine. That story works just as well if you then chase after him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually, another thing, we get so much cool tech detail in all these different things, from the translate radar burst, which I think that's the first time we see that.
Hydrogen scoops, all that stuff gets in here.
We get the different we get fleet codes, we get different types of burst signals, we get, what else was I thinking? We get all the cool talk about the computer tech, right? He describes the D5 system.
The D5 stuff is amazing. The descriptions of all the scanners and the whole, it's really cool.
Yeah, because it's like he's read a book about cryptology and he's pushing it into the future, saying, instead of having analysts, now we have the analysts and the technology that does the analysis for them, but there's always a person still there at the end that is verifying this, looking it over. Like the cool thing about, because I think that's also another example, a real world example, when they talk about the Japanese, I'm already thinking it. The Kilrathi changed their fleet code, and one of the techs notices that, wait, this looks like a code they had 8 years ago, and they're able to run it through and start immediately getting a translation and start cracking it, compared to having to brute force it for X amount of days or hours or weeks.
One thing I thought was funny, and it starts with the DS5 stuff, is the use of Concordia as a comparison in the Wing Commander universe, because
Yeah.
first we have it's the DS5 it costs 80 billion credits,
Yeah.
which is actually, it matches earlier in the book where we're told the Concordia costs 73 billion credits,
Yeah.
and so he's like, oh, this is more expensive than the Concordia, and then totally separate characters, Hunter and Paladin, are off. They find these Karathi battleships and they're each the size of the Concordia. So the Concordia is the yardstick of the Wing Commander universe.
Not a bad stick.
987.3 meters long. Yes.
Yeah.
So going off of the tech stuff, what did you guys think of that fake out like mid chapter where Paladin gets the burst signal out and they jump out of the system, and the first line back on the Tarawa is, "We've got it."
Yeah.
We got
Yes.
this."
Yeah, that's a great part.
Yes, that is good drama.
Yeah.
But it's not at all what you expect it to be.
Yeah, it's a totally separate thing, and then we find out that they actually couldn't receive that burst signal because they're stuck on this moon.
Yeah, which I guess we have to mention that too. There are 2 escort carriers under a cliff on a greenhouse gas planet because Bear has decided to take them down.
Which is a wonderful image, by the
Yeah.
way. You can picture that in your head. There's a lot of very good visuals in this. You can imagine the Karathi Temple. You can imagine the Tarawa with the giant radar dish on it.
Yeah.
It's very evocative suddenly.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, another cool bit I thought was the I forget if it was this chapter or the previous one, but the Marines guarding the door, but they're not wearing uniforms; they're just wearing black.
Yeah, they're the Section 31.
It's just such a cool visual in my head, picturing guys.
Yeah, everybody's so professional that they look casual holding their rifles.
Yeah.
Because it's like they know exactly what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And an interesting contrast to the previous two chapters back, where we meet the Hunter meets the Landreich Marines, and they're just totally casual, and they're hanging out and they're friendly, and he's like, I like these guys, and this is a different breed of soldier.
Yeah, it's a different kind of casual soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, would you like to do your midway?
Yeah, why don't we jump into some of that signal intelligence
All right.
stuff? Because
And
what
that's-
Mr. Fortune has done is
nice,
he has borrowed from history. Because
Surprise!
Yes, because the part Michael just brought up about the kind of the fake out where you hope that suddenly Tarawa has received Paladin's message and they're going to rush back to the Confederation and let them know. No, instead, what they do is what Ben explained earlier about the antimatter production facility on the moon detonating, and the whole thing is that the Kilrathi are using this term Noctara, which means Earth. That actually comes from the Battle of Midway, where on the smaller picture below me is of Midway. So that's Eastern Island, closest to the bottom of the screen, and Sand Island is at the top of the screen. And the Japanese labeled it Target AF. So in the fall...
Because this thing is lit AF.
Yes. Hot. And, Jesus. And in the spring of 1942, the Japanese are sending out these communications. What's called Station Hypo, which is actually in the basement of Admiral Nimitz's office building at Pearl Harbor. It's the United States Signal Intelligence Office for the Pacific Fleet. And they serve under a man named Commander Joe Rochefort. And he is going through this with his analysis. He's trying to, they're trying to figure out what is going on, and they're trying to decrypt what's called JN25. So that's like the Fleet Code A of the Kilrathi. They change it every so often to try to, keep ahead of the decryptors. And by late April of 1942, so just before the Battle of the Coral Sea, his team says, according to our analysis, we think that the Japanese are planning a major operation in the Central Pacific and perhaps in the Aleutians. However, other people said no, they're coming after Hawaii, they're going to come after the West Coast. So in order to prove his hunch right, you can flip to show Joe the next one. That's Mr. Rochefort, who is a character unto himself. This guy,
terrible cheese, also.
I didn't know that. It's crazy.
It's like French blue cheese with these gross. It's bad cheese, man.
Oh, that's not good to know. Well, Rochefort was a guy who, that's probably the only shirt he owned without coffee stains. He was notorious for wearing. He went, and Nimitz let him get away with this because he was so good. He wore slippers and a satin smoking jacket typically. That's why, if you go to the next one, I cut out, that's the same picture I used earlier, but you can see in that he's smoking, and he has his smoking jacket on, which is not Navy regulations. So he comes up with this idea. He goes, we can do a ruse, because Hawaii and Midway have an underwater cable, so completely secure from Japanese interception, just like Tolwyn going back to Confed with the message in his head. And Admiral Layton describes it as, he says, the idea was to send a message via the cable to Midway, to the commanding officer of the naval base, instructing him to, quote, send a plain language message to Commandant 14th Naval District, Pearl Harbor, stating in effect that the distillation plant had suffered a serious casualty and that fresh water was urgently needed. To which Com 14 would reply, also in plain language, so guaranteeing the Japanese intercept this. That water barges would soon be sent under tow. A few days later, Station Hypo intercepts a message saying, target AF low on water, confirming that Midway is the target of the Japanese assault. And what's funny is a few days after that, they change their codes. Just like what happens in Fleet Action, right? Where a few days, the code gets changed, they can't read as much, but it doesn't matter. The Americans already have the order of battle, the strategy, the transit dates. Like, Rochefort is able to tell Nimitz that the Japanese carriers are going to show up on the morning of June 4th to the northwest of Midway at about 170 miles, which is exactly where we find them on the 4th of June. But yeah, it's funny. He lifts it almost verbatim and pastes it in here. And it's a good story and a good ruse, so it's not that, it's good to see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But, and then to finish on what you were talking about, there's another famous, to this day, we're not exactly sure. So in the book, they talk about how, there could be padding. A message could be 30 words in a 64 million word thing, with each word separated by a certain number of words that Fortune clearly doesn't know how his base 8 system works, right?
Yes, let's have
ridiculous.
Mike talk about that one in a moment.
Yeah, we'll ask Michael what the hell, because I was like, I see 64, I'm assuming that's right, sure. Or an 8 of 8s of 8s of 8s. I just gave up trying to convert that. But what Ben was talking about is at the Battle of Leyte Gulf, just before the main actions start breaking out, is Admiral Halsey takes his entire fleet north to go engage Admiral Ozawa's Northern Carrier Force, which is a fake. It's a decoy. There's 30 planes on all these carriers. It's bait for Admiral Halsey so that he will come up there, and will go attack them, allowing the main battleships of the Japanese fleet to sneak into Leyte Gulf. And the thing is, he had sent this message out saying he was going to create this unit called Task Force 34 that was going to watch the strait, but then it never actually happens, and some miscommunications occur. And eventually Admiral Nimitz, who's back at Pearl Harbor, gets all these messages from other admirals, begging for help. And it's where the hell is Halsey? So they craft a message, and the whole thing is, it reads, it starts with some padding. Turkey trots to water, right? That makes no sense. Where is Task Force 34? And then we don't know if this is actually the message or padding. The world wonders. Where when Admiral Halsey, because the cryptographer left those 3 words on there, thinking, I guess that's part of the message, right? Where is Task Force 34? The world wonders. And that made Admiral Halsey fly into a rage. He threw his hat on the ground. He started stamping around like a little kid, to where his chief of staff had to say, "Get your shit together. What are you doing? We need to start figuring something out." But by the time that he's able to turn around, the tin can sailors of Taffy 3 are able to turn back the battleships of the Japanese Center Force. But yeah, that's the one with that, where Turkey trots to water, which that's definitely padding, but is the world wonders? And we're not exactly sure to this day. But Michael, so give me some math lessons.
Sorry. I mean, it's just, he clearly has no idea how this work, or even just, it's just awkwardly written more than anything. You feel like someone at some point would have read this and be like, maybe just rephrase that. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it gets confusing because it was 8 of 8s of 8s, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell is that again? That doesn't seem like a normal way anybody would ever talk,
No,
10s of 10s.
That'd be like a person saying over 10 100s. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
it's just awkward.
But it seems like the most problematic thing is where he then multiplies the things by 10. There's something where he's 108 of 8s. Like, you're still using base 10. Why are you multiplying by 10?
Yeah.
He's making an effort, just
Yeah.
not much.
Not a very good one. Yeah.
Arguably more of an effort than the Fleet Act or the Voices of War, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, eventually you realize, wow, we made a mistake in giving them only 8 fingers. We thought it'd be cool to make them different, but now it's screwed us in counting. Yeah.
So my only other big question for this chapter is, and we've kind of already talked about this, but what did you think? What did you imagine the first time you heard that Karathi carrier description? What was in your head?
Oh, the Hakata. Oh. I remember it was not the ship on the cover. I remember being like, no, it can't be those. For whatever reason, I was like, no.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
Yeah.
And they were jerks.
Yes, I was a jerk back then. Definitely a huge jerk about it. Because now it's all I think about is that what everybody's done in the years after in modeling those. I think
I've always...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've always... I know it's not quite the same, but it's not actually that far off. Like the Super Star Destroyers from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The giant... I can't... There's that one that has a name that I'm blanking on the name.
Executor.
Yeah.
Something with an E and X.
I'm talking to the right crowd. That's basically what I've always pictured, just like this gigantic, like gargantuan spaceship.
That's a good callback. And that first reveal where you first see it and how much huge. I think it shows up in Empire, and you see how much huger it is than the other Star Destroyers. Is that right? Is it in Empire? Leah will know.
Yeah, Executioner shows up in Empire at the start, right? Because when he asteroids. No.
It's a regular Star Destroyer in the asteroid field.
But isn't it at the end?
Leah, help us.
I'm here. I just don't trust my connection tonight.
Okay.
It's all right.
The Executor, does that show up in Empire or Return of the Jedi?
It's revealed in Empire.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, there we have it.
Gotcha.
So, and Chris or Leah, have any thoughts about your first time? What did you imagine when you first saw the Akagas?
Well, when I first read that length, I became a man.
So it's they're very cool. The stats are, you're very stats driven at that point in time, and compared to like Commander 2 ships, which are at the forefront of your mind, it sounds terrifying. And then they just gloss over the fact that there's these Concordia blasting battleships that are,
never mentioned or seen again.
But what if it's the
those
dreadnoughts?
alone are terrifying.
I remember especially loving the detail of the stats because there's almost a fake it there. It's roughly 1,500 meters long, and then the scanner's coming in. It's 1,580 meters long, and that starts doing a love affair of trying to read too much in the text to figure out the exact specifications so you can Jonesify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is before we get a whole lot of the more... We have basic details at this point, right? Do we know how many flight decks it has yet?
We got all that early on because the Karathi go through
the description
in the prologue.
About how they have the armored internal elevators and things like. Okay, I wasn't sure if that should have also later when when boop happens.
I was also like I'm surprised that Thraka thinks he needs 5 Hakagas to slice through to Earth. Especially with these massive escort fleets. There just don't seem to be that many human defenders out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's right. He and we're programmed to want to think that the big bad guy is an idiot and his dick don't work. But he is right about this. He does need a little bit more, a few more.
Yeah, because what was their war game said they needed 9 at a minimum.
9 for overwhelming.
And 12 would just clean the clock. That's everything. But they needed a minimum. Was it minimum 6 though earlier in the book?
It's something like that.
I think it was. Yeah, because they said that they were short 1. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, that was, I think, when they had 4. That was when 4 of them were ready, and the 5th was about to come online.
That's where we are now.
Yeah, and I feel like before they were like, when they were breaking it down, it's like we need 6 to do this, 9 to, do that.
9, I think it's 9 to be certain, 12 to be overwhelming.
Yeah, and then to have them, because we also kind of get a weird, as a building on that, we get when Thrakath is talking about the fear of what can happen after this, it's like alluding again to our good friends the Mantu. Right, and threats still out there.
So, any other thoughts about these chapters before we sign off for the night?
Only other thing that popped up a few times was the traitor in the human ranks.
Yes.
Just ominously being mentioned.
Yeah, dropping the...
I think 2 or 3 times, maybe.
And interestingly so, because at this point we're teasing it as though it's a reveal, and we already know who it is.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Everybody seems to know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yes, a woman, of course.
Yes. Yeah, and actually, she gets mentioned twice, because Richards brings it up when they're talking about when they first bring the D5 on board, and then the Emperor mentions her again, saying she keeps us appraised of the situation back there.
Well, Chris or Leha, any last thoughts?
The only one I can think of is that these 2 chapters, something that Jason said earlier kind of struck a chord with me, is that we've now reached the point in the book where it's kind of like a horror movie. Mm-hmm. We know the person shouldn't be going into the dark room. Yeah. We know what's in there, but they don't. And we're all screaming at the television saying, don't go in there. And now all of a sudden they're aware. And, there's some kind of narrative connection there.
Very, very good point. Yeah, in fact, that's kind of the spark that you get in your mind, is the idea that now they know what we know, and we're going to see what really happens. Yeah. And that's really exciting. And it's a good lead into what happens next, because this space train is chugging now. We're going to see that events multiply.
Yes, they do.
And it's very much becomes about wanting to see how these pieces that we know fall into place. And it does become a very compelling story right now.
We do have one audience question.
Oh, sure.
Although this one's going to be kind of a tough one. It's a bit... we don't have enough, maybe, detail. But it's, assuming the Kilrathi had such a huge fleet and won the war, what would be the effect on the Kilrathi economy? Sounds like a very expensive project.
Interesting question. And in fact, we hear earlier in this book that the Kilrathi economy is one of the things they're considering. They need the resources represented by Earth. Jukaga has a point where he talks about how to fight the next war and to keep the Empire going, they need to keep conquering and keep adding planets. And we kind of see this a couple times in Wing Commander lore, where the different clans will take over different areas of space, and they will, vie for the most important resources. And just the idea that if the Kilrathi are going to fight who they think the next enemy is, the Mantu, they need the Confederation. Both Jukaga specifically thinks they need both the Confederation's economy, its resource base, and they need the Confederation, the humans themselves, to work as slaves, and not just slaves as they're building things and stamping license plates, but the Kilrathi use their slave races for their science to improve. The stealth technology, the torpedo technology comes from the Varni. They take our scientists, and there's very much an economic aspect of that, where they covet the value of the Confederation just as much as they do the sociological aspect of fighting. And going from there, though, one thread we see in Wing Commander 2 is the Society of the Mandarins, who have analyzed exactly the situation, and they have said the only way to defeat the Kilrathi is to let them win. Don't have this epic generational conflict that kills trillions. Just let them win and then take them over from within. And that's almost what Jukaga sees as happening. He wants to absorb the Confederation and take its value on many different levels. And you kind of start, were the Mandarins right? Because
were the Mandarins right? News at 11.
Anyway, I went off the rails a bit, but excellent question. Chris, any last thoughts? Did I already ask that?
Yes, you did.
Nothing else about Fleet Action, but I noticed you're at 199 subscribers, so just one more and you'll break the 200s over.
That's awesome. And if we get 26 million in one, then we're really cooking.
That's right.
But yes, who will be our 200th subscriber? If it's you, let us know, and we'll give you a copy of Wing Commander Armada on GOG.
Oh, good thing I already own it, because I know I haven't subscribed yet, because I'm here right now. We talked about this just before the show. Same comment I made.
That is awesome, though. I can't believe 200 people have subscribed.
Yeah, that's love
crazy.
It is. I can't believe all of you love listening to us. I can't believe you have that many burner accounts. You have a lot of time to fill that many burner accounts. I'm proud of you.
When I was a teenager, maybe. All right, well, with that, I will thank you all for coming out to this one. These chapters were maybe not as deep as some of the others, but they were so good and so much fun, and it's great to get back into the, remember why we enjoy this stuff so much.
The race is on now.
Excellent having you guys there, and we will see you in 2 weeks for chapters 8 and 9, which are big chapters.
Wait, no.
What?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay.
Because 2 weeks I'm not.
Yeah, you're going to be away.
Yeah,
so
unless you were going to do a different one, yeah.
You just I'll just stream Privateer or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, I'm going away the week after.
All right, so 3 weeks from now, 2 more chapters.
Yes, that's going to be the good one. Getting good.
All right, and so there's no cargo bay this week, but
all right, sign
here's our outro.
Oops.
So with that,
oh yeah, I was like, you remember this? I actually had pulled out ready too. I had it sitting there just so I would make sure.
We're gonna do our logbook.
That's right, and we've.
So you want to tell folks about what we're going to be doing next week? Whatever we do know at this point.
Yes, I do. So we are going to. Are those what you have down?
No, I don't think I wrote it down.
Okay, well, you have things those are Michael notes, but I won't. Well, we might do. Ready? It's who knows now. We might look at the Nephilim sounds, the taunts we have never heard. We have to do Privateer 2 ships, of course. We'll be looking at what's our next ship after the Aurora.
You said it earlier.
My brain just broke, and I actually watched it break on the screen. Is it the shit? Oh, the Shaman.
Here you go. The Shaman.
The PRO2 Shaman. Yeah. You can't take me anywhere. You were gonna look into graphing the systems from Fleet Action.
Yeah,
onto the map.
Do that.
We'll have our other normal segments. We'll continue back-to-back Privateers.
Yeah, I'm gonna play over the weekend, so feel free to join me there. It'll just be casual, but we'll get that Tarsus kitted out so that by the next time we play, we'll have a ship upgrade maybe.
Oh, yeah. And other than that, we'll have to see what we come up with over the next few days, since that's what we usually do.
All right. Well, I've got.
The pen is. Oh, do you have it?
I've got it here. Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I wasn't sure.
I've got we've drawn a Gothry for this week.
Nice.
R.I.P. us. I'm gonna sign the logbook there, and I will.
The jerk got
give that to you.
One day somebody's gonna steal our. Oh no! I put a hole in it because it was up. There we go. Signed, sealed, and delivered. R.I.P. us.
All right, now let's learn a little bit more about hydrogen scoops from your friend and mine, Clyde.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clyde Burrows from the Omnicron Institute. We heard an awful lot of talk about scoops on this week's episode, but they weren't talking about ice cream. The word scoops is a shorthand for hydrogen scoop, a reference to a theoretical type of spacecraft engine called the Bussard ramjet. The ramjet was first theorized in 1960 and operates with electromagnetic fields that scoop up spaceborne hydrogen to power a fusion engine. A future interstellar spacecraft powered by such a system could theoretically continue operating indefinitely, perfect for multi-generational travel between two stars. See you on the next exciting episode of All Wings Considered.